energy and oil facilities across the region will be considered legitimate targets and will be destroyed irreversibly, and oil prices will rise for a long time. And then he also threatened to target buyers of U.S. Treasury bonds, saying that financial entities financing the American military budget were legitimate targets. And so with all that, you had Iran spending the weekend showing that it has not been defeated yet. Right, attacks continued against American allies in the Gulf, with Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and the UAE all reporting that they intercepted drone and missile attacks over the weekend. We also saw Iranian strikes increasingly testing the limits of Israel's air defense system. On Friday, for example, a missile fragment hit near holy sites in Jerusalem's Old City and injured several people. And on Saturday, 2 Iranian missiles struck cities in southern Israel and wounded around 180 people, including a 12-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl, who were both reported to be in serious condition. And you had Iranian state-linked media saying that the strikes were carried out in response to alleged attacks by the US and Israel on nuclear facilities in Iran. And then also, like, a big thing with these strikes on Israel is they hit near the country's main nuclear research facility and reactor, which is meant to be one of the best protected sites in the country. So the fact that 2 missiles made it through, it's raised questions about how effective Israel's air defenses are going to continue to be, especially the longer this war drags on. Because so far, you have the military claiming to have intercepted more than 90% of Iran's ballistic missiles. And that may be largely thanks to something called the Arrow 3, an anti-ballistic missile system developed by Israel and the US. But Israeli media reported that the Arrow 3 wasn't deployed against the missiles that injured so many people this weekend. And so there are concerns that the military is starting to more aggressively conserve its stockpile of these interceptors, which are extremely costly and time-consuming to produce. Though I will say that the military has denied recent reports that it was running out of missile interceptors, saying that it had prepared for prolonged combat. But also, you had a former commander of Israel's air and missile defense forces telling the New York Times, it's not a bottomless barrel. When we intercept, we also have to think of the next day's battle. Right? And with that, a high-ranking Israeli defense official reportedly traveled to Washington this month to ask for more interceptors and munitions, and it's not clear whether the US agreed to provide more. Though also, in the meantime, another way that Iran's been trying to get around Israel's air defenses is through the use of what are known as cluster munitions. They have these warheads that burst and scatter into small bombs, meaning that if they're intercepted, some of those smaller bombs can still escape and continue their descent. In Israel, they can try to intercept those too, but it is hard to hit every single one every single time, which we seemingly saw yesterday when an Iranian missile dropped cluster munitions in central Israel and injured 15 people. And with that, right, the use of cluster munitions, especially in populated areas, it may violate the laws of war due to the potential for indiscriminate harm to civilians. And in fact, the US and Israel have condemned Iran's use of the weapons for that reason. And actually, since 2008, more than 100 countries have signed an international agreement to ban them. Though, I will say notably, nobody involved in this conflict, including the US and Israel as well as Iran, has signed that agreement, nor have any major powers like Russia, China, and India. In fact, the US has actually used cluster munitions in Afghanistan and other conflicts, as well as supplied the weapons to Ukraine despite concerns over how they might be used. And with that, Russia, they've also used cluster munitions during the war there, and Israel, they've used them in the past wars, including in Lebanon in 2002, and allegedly more recently as well. And that's on top of how right now they've also been accused of using something called white phosphorus in residential areas in Lebanon, which could similarly be illegal due to the potential for indiscriminate civilian harm. And actually, on that note, the Israeli invasion and assault on Lebanon, it has killed over 1,000 and displaced more than 1 million, according to the Lebanese government. With the IDF chief of staff saying on Sunday that its campaign had only just begun, and that's as the country's defense minister revealed that he had ordered the military to step up its destruction of bridges and houses in the southern part of the country, even suggesting that they would follow methods that they deployed in Gaza. But to stick with Iran for now, in addition to attacking Israel, it's also believed to have fired 2 missiles at a joint American-British military base in the Indian Ocean, with one missile failing mid-flight and the other getting shot down by an American warship. And the reason that this could be absolutely game-changing is we're talking about this happening 3,000 miles away from Tehran. Right? Iran had previously said that it intentionally kept the range of its missiles below 1,250 miles because it didn't want to be felt as a threat by anyone else in the world. And so if that was a lie or something has changed, it means that many more European countries and US military bases in them are potential targets. That said, I do want to say it's not clear how far such an attack could truly reach, since neither missile reached its target, and it's not even clear that the missiles carried a payload, which would have let them travel further by weighing less. And Iran has actually denied that it fired the missiles, accusing the Israeli government of staging it as a false flag operation. But it is something we need to keep an eye on, because the questions here are also connected to other questions or claims, right? Things like claims from Trump and others that Iran, they had the ability to directly attack the US and that the attack was imminent, but also if they had this ability, they weren't using the ability. But all in all, with everything that we've talked about, what we do know, what's still questionable, what is known is that the Iranian regime, they're not done fighting. And so if Trump, he follows through on his threat, Iran may follow through on theirs, and the fallout with that, it could be massive. Right? Because currently, not all, but most of the impact on oil prices and everything tied to that come down to the Strait of Hormuz. And if that reopens, the situation could potentially stabilize relatively quickly. The relatively is the key word there, since you already have people like the head of the International Energy Agency warning that no matter what, recovery is going to take some time at this point. And that's also as he called the war in Iran the biggest threat to global energy security in history, worse than the oil shocks of 1973 and 1979 combined. But also, the widespread damage to energy or civilian infrastructure, it would make that impact far greater and much longer lasting, which is why you have some seeing this whole situation as a massive wake-up call of yet another reason to shift to renewable energy. But that shift, it's not taking place fast enough to offset these impacts if it gets worse. But then with all that said, this morning you had Trump appearing to back down, writing in a social media post, "I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East." And adding, "I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussion." With him then telling reporters that the US and Iran had very strong talks and would continue them by phone today. Also claiming Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were leading the talks for the US and were dealing with a top person in Iran, except he wouldn't say who that was, only that it wasn't the supreme leader. But then with that, you had Iran publicly pushing back on the idea that there's been any real progress toward ending the war. Or with Iran's foreign ministry claiming Trump's comments were just meant to reduce energy prices and to buy time for implementing his military plans, and adding, "Yes, there have been initiatives from regional countries to reduce tensions, and our response to all of them is clear. We are not the party that started this war, and all such requests should be directed to Washington." We also reportedly had a senior security official arguing that Trump pulled back his threat to hit Iranian infrastructure after Iran's military threats became credible, saying there have been no negotiations and there are none underway. And in the meantime, Iran's only stepped up their own threats, warning Trump against a possible boots on the ground effort. Or the country's defense council saying in a statement, "Any attempt to attack Iran's coasts or islands will cause all access routes in the Gulf to be mined with various types of sea mines, including floating mines that can be released from the coast." And saying, in this case, the entire Gulf will practically be in a situation similar to the Strait of Hormuz for a long time. And so ultimately, Trump may just be backing himself further and further into a corner every day, with him seemingly surrounded by yes men and sycophants with the world's most powerful military at his disposal, and with so far no meaningful pushback in Congress. Who's to say if he'll taco again? But also, while we wait to see what happens there, his administration's latest moves on the domestic side, they're also prompting some serious outcry. Right in Atlanta, security lines are stretching for hours. In Houston, nearly half of TSA workers called out on Friday. And Trump's solution? Send ICE agents to airports. Agents who aren't trained to run X-ray machines, screen baggage, or basically do anything the TSA does. His own border czar admitted that they're mostly going to be guarding doors and checking IDs. So his transportation secretary says they will run the X-ray machines because they're under Homeland Security with TSA. So they also can't even agree on what these agents are actually going to be doing. And then you also have Trump specifically saying they'd be arresting undocumented immigrants with a heavy emphasis on those from Somalia. And then in the meantime, 2 pilots just died at LaGuardia and there's still no deal to end the shutdown. But, starting with the TSA crisis, we've been covering it extensively, but it just keeps getting worse. Workers aren't getting paid, they're calling out to work jobs that'll actually put food on the table, and security lines at airports are backed up for hours. And you have both sides trying to blame each other. Right? Republicans blaming Democrats because they won't pass DHS funding without ICE reform. But also you're seeing more and more people blaming Republicans and specifically Trump because they're seeing that the Democrats, they want to fund TSA. They've even tried to, but Trump ordered Republicans to refuse any deal unless the Save America Act gets passed. And so with the TSA funding specifically, even though it seems pretty much like a fact, I'll frame this as an opinion. I'll let you be the judge, but this very much looks like it's the Republicans' fault. Oh wow, we've got no end in sight. This shutdown could stretch well into April. Meanwhile, you're seeing things like Elon Musk offered to pay TSA salaries himself during the shutdown, which would run about $40 million a week. But rather than do that or some other thing, Trump announced that he was sending ICE in. Or with Trump posting, on Monday, ICE will be going to airports to help our wonderful TSA agents who have stayed on the job despite the fact that the radical left Democrats are endangering the USA by holding back the money that was long agreed to. And while that already was heavily disputed, what really set off the alarm bells was when he said that ICE agents would, quote, do security like no one has ever seen before, including the immediate arrest of all illegal immigrants who have come into our country, with heavy emphasis on those from Somalia. And so yeah, it really doesn't seem like this is actually about fixing security lines or helping TSA. This is about turning airports into immigration enforcement zones. All while the biggest bottlenecks in airport security are specialized tasks like running X-ray machines, screening baggage, stuff that requires specific TSA training, stuff that ICE agents don't know how to do. That's why you're seeing people like John Sandweg, a former acting ICE director, saying, I find it hard to say operationally there's any basis to do this other than to use ICE again as a political wedge to try to put pressure on Democrats to end the shutdown. I think that's what this is all about. And you also had border czar Tom Homan acknowledging the agents don't have the expertise, saying that they'd likely guard exit doors and check IDs, calling it a force multiplier that would free up actual TSA agents to go back to screening. But again, you then had Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy going on the record saying that ICE agents would know how to run the X-ray machines because they're, quote, under Homeland Security with TSA. Which I will say, it's different, but it's also kind of like saying a firefighter can perform plastic surgery because they're both in the medical field. But easily the bigger thing here is that the administration can't even agree on whether ICE agents are door guards or machine operators. And then with all this, you had the mayor of Atlanta announcing that agents would be at Hartsfield-Jackson this morning for line management and crowd control, which I guess we're going to find out about in real time how that goes. And then with all of this, you're seeing people like Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer calling it disturbing and saying that ICE agents who are untrained and have caused problems everywhere they've gone, lurking at our airports, that's asking for trouble. Also, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries saying that it was the last thing that the American people need, and adding, we've already seen how ICE conducts itself. These are untrained individuals when it comes to doing the current job that they have for the most part, let alone deploying them in close exposure and highly sensitive situations at airports across the country. And then on top of all this other airport chaos, you had a deadly crash at LaGuardia last night that's adding even more stress to the system. An Air Canada Express plane collided with a fire and rescue truck on the runway, with both pilots being killed, 41 people being taken to the hospital, 39 from the aircraft, and 2 Port Authority officers from the truck. And while you have sources saying that there is no indication of foul play or terrorism, of course the NTSB is investigating. Now, to be clear with this, right, this is not connected to the shutdown, right? Air traffic controllers, they're not part of the group that's going unpaid right now. But of course, it adds to the craziness around air travel right now. And with that, LaGuardia was shut down following the crash, a full ground stop until at least 2 p.m. today. So then connecting to everything we've been talking about, every traveler who can't fly out of LaGuardia is now going to other airports, joining those massive security lines and walking past ICE agents in the terminal. Right, and so with all this, let me kind of condense it into 2 final things. Right, as far as where we are, you have TSA workers not being paid. The president rejected a deal that would have fixed it. His response is then to deploy immigration agents who can't do the job, with specific instructions to arrest undocumented immigrants, with heavy emphasis on those from Somalia. His own officials can't agree on what agents will actually do there. 2 pilots also just died in a disconnected incident. The shutdown, it could last until April, and the president, he seems more focused on passing a voter restriction bill than actually paying the people who keep airports safe. And then secondly, if you're flying anytime soon, build in some extra time. And then there's more we're going to dive into in just a minute. But first, let me thank a sponsor and say, some of you are paying so much for wireless that your phone bill, it looks like it should come with leather seats and a sunroof. But thanks to today's sponsor, Mint Mobile, it doesn't have to. They've made wireless easier. Or some wireless companies still act like overcharging you. It's just part of the adult experience, but I reject that. And Mint, they give you premium wireless without a premium price tag, with plans starting at $15 a month. No stores, no awkward sales pitch. Just sign up and activate in minutes with eSIM from home. All plans come with unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network, which is a pretty solid combo of useful and not annoying. Plus, you also get free calling to Mexico, Canada, and the UK, which is actually useful and not one of those fake features that, no one asked for. They've also got data options too, 5 gigabyte, 15 gigabyte, 20 gigabyte, so you're not stuck paying for some bloated plan that your life doesn't require. And if you want to keep your phone or get a new one, you can. Either way, switching's easy. Also, 96% of users are highly satisfied with Mint's customer care, and they back it up with a 7-day money-back guarantee. So if you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/DeFranco or scan that QR code. Again, that's mintmobile.com/DeFranco. But then, diving right back into the news, if you need a favor from the Trump administration, all you got to do apparently is call up DHS and they will have your back, even if that means deporting your ex-girlfriend. Or just ask Paolo Zampoli, this former modeling agent who goes way, way back with Donald Trump. Or because the way the story goes is he introduced the future president to Melania at a party in 1998 at the Kit Kat Club. He got her a visa and attended their wedding, or with him quickly bonding with Trump over what he called their common interest: beautiful things. Oh, and I should also mention that another thing they have in common is they are both in the Epstein files. Right, Zampoli and Epstein, they once discussed buying a modeling agency together, and in fact, Zampoli's own wife came to the United States aboard Epstein's plane as a 17-year-old Brazilian model. Her name was Amanda Ungaro, and she'd have a romantic relationship with the then 32-year-old Zampoli for the next 2 decades. And so in the meantime, they kept close with the Trumps, attending Mar-a-Lago parties, with Zampoli working for Donald Trump and real estate, joining the board of the Kennedy Center during Trump's first term, and becoming the special representative for global partnerships during his second term. Reportedly, Melania would even send birthday wishes and presents to the couple's son, who's about to become a very important character for this story. Right, because by 2023, Ungaro was reportedly fed up with Zampoli's parties full of young women and his lewd texts with an apparent sex worker. So she dumped him, she moved to Florida, she married another guy, and her son came to live with her, sparking a custody battle. But then last June, Ungaro and her husband were arrested on charges of fraud, practicing medicine without a license, and other crimes related to their business, which was a medical spa. Now, the husband ended up getting out on bond because he had a green card, but Ungaro, her visa expired in 2019, with her telling the New York Times that she had been led on for years by Zampoli, who repeatedly promised her marriage and citizenship, and then he reneged. And so according to the Times, he saw an opportunity here to win his custody battle, and he pounced. First, reportedly seeking help from Corey Lewandowski, right, the top aide to Kristi Noem at DHS, and that's all he is to her. And how dare anyone insinuate otherwise, but They got no response. But then he called up David Venturella, a top ICE official, and he reportedly explained that his ex-girlfriend was here illegally and detaining her could help him get his son back. And Venturella apparently bit, reportedly calling the agency's Miami office to make sure that agents picked up Ungaro from jail before she was bailed out, or with him reportedly noting that the case was important to someone close to the White House. And just like that, Ungaro was taken into custody and deported. Now, both DHS and Zampoli, they deny that she was deported as any sort of favor, and either way, it is possible, if not likely, that she would have been picked up by ICE anyway. But we'll never actually know, and so it's just wild to see yet another example of Trump's law enforcement allegedly being used like a personal problem-solving force, whether it's at airports and blue cities or in favors for friends. Plus, it's reflective of a broader trend in the way that the administration treats parents like Ungaro. But according to ProPublica, Trump started detaining and arresting immigrant parents with U.S. citizen children twice as often as Biden did, with the Fed scooping up the parents of at least 11,000 citizen children over just the first 7 months. So that means that if they kept up that pace, it'll be roughly double that number by now, so about 22,000 parents, and that's likely an undercount. Also, for whatever reason, they've especially gone after mothers, reportedly deporting about 4 times as many moms of citizen children per day as Biden did. And if you're one of those parents who gets arrested, you're much less likely to be let go than you were before. Because while about 30% of these cases ended in deportation under Biden, under Trump, that number has shot up to almost 60%. And as many experts have noted, that's not because they're the worst of the worst like Trump promised. Right, over half of the fathers and about 3/4 of the moms had no criminal convictions in the United States except for traffic or immigration-related offenses. With the polling showing that, more and more people are asking things like, why are these people being forcibly separated from their kids for what, a speeding ticket? But also, none of these numbers should be too surprising. We know that immigration agents have been pressured to get those arrest numbers up as high as possible. And in fact, Trump's people even changed the name of the document containing guidelines for how to handle parents from the Parental Interest Directive to the Detained Parents Directive. And they also removed the word humane from its preamble on how to handle immigrant parents. But then, actually, the final thing that I want to talk about today is that AI political ads are already messing with the midterms, and we are still months out. Right, among other things, you had a Republican committee posting a deep fake of a Democratic Senate candidate reading his own tweets, video that looks completely real with nothing but a barely visible watermark disclosing that it's fake. Also, another candidate posted an AI-generated version of a sitting governor's voice saying things that she never said and called it a parody. All while AI companies, they've pledged $265 million in super PAC money to punish any lawmaker who tries to regulate them. So let's talk about what's happening, who's doing it, and why nobody's stopping it. Now, one of the most recent situations that actually hit Texas Senate candidate James Tallarico, the Democratic nominee, where this month the National Republican Senatorial Committee posted an AI-generated video showing Tallarico sitting at a desk, reading his old tweets out loud and commenting on them.
Oh, I remember this one. Radicalized white men are the greatest domestic terrorist threat in our country. White men. So true. So true. Oh, this one is touching. Over and over, Christians use scripture to justify bullying trans kids. I told them in my faith, God is non-binary.
So the old tweets, those are real. The video, it's not. Tallarico never read them on camera. He never provided that commentary. The whole thing was generated to make him look too extreme for conservative voters. There's no big, bold disclaimer, no verbal disclaimer, just a faint watermark in the corner noting that it's AI. You'd really only see it if you were looking for it, but the Republican Senatorial Committee, they say, hey, they did nothing wrong. Right, a source close to the group telling CNN that they just visualized Tallarico's words, saying they used a modern tool within all legal and ethical parameters. But also, it's not just Tallarico. This is happening across the country. Also in the Texas Senate race, Republican Ken Paxton posted a fake video of fellow Republican John Cornyn dancing with Jasmine Crockett, meant to make him look too cozy with Democrats. Then in Massachusetts, a Republican candidate running against Governor Maura Healey put out a radio spot using an AI-generated version of her voice, saying things that she never said. Right, and that ad was framed as what her ads, quote, might sound like if she was honest. And so you had the fake Healey saying,
we have accomplished so much in our first term. We have one of the highest electricity rates in the nation, thanks to me for slapping on excessive fees to fund my climate agenda.
But she never said any of that, though the campaign that put this out defended it as parody and as a creative and fun way to educate voters. Also in a Massachusetts state race, a representative posted an AI-generated newspaper's front page showing his opponent holding hands with Zoran Mamdani, designed to paint him as a radical leftist. And so with all this, you're seeing people like the CEO of advertising firm DS Political saying, anytime generative AI is used to create messaging or imagery that is misleading, I hope we can all agree that's a negative thing. And you're trying to be deceitful or have something that never existed, that's a big issue. Now, in the pursuit of being fair here, I'm going to note that Democrats have used AI in political ads as well. This is not exclusive to Republican tactics. But easily, the highest profile cases right now, they are overwhelmingly coming from the right. And you have some saying that the biggest reason that this is just getting worse and worse is that the most powerful person in the country is doing it constantly. Where Trump uses AI to attack opponents, promote his agenda, and stoke political flames. And, reports have found that his use of technology has eroded public trust, with people genuinely just not knowing what's real anymore. You even had New York Times tech reporter Tiffany Sue putting it this way. If the president says sets the political tone, then candidates could be less cautious about tapping the technology. Their calculus might be that the public is becoming increasingly desensitized to AI's reality distortion effect. They're already being bombarded with fake influencers, fake celebrities, fake war reporting. What's another fake politician? So the general argument is that when the president treats deepfakes as just another tool, it gives everyone else permission to do the same. That said, some states, they've moved to regulate political deepfakes, requiring disclosure when AI is used or restricting how it can be deployed in campaign ads. But just last week, you had Trump introducing a legislative framework that would limit states' ability to regulate AI across the board. It creates a single national policy covering child safety, intellectual property, free speech, and data centers. And on paper, like a number of things, that sounds reasonable, but in practice, many believe that whatever Trump proposes, it's not going to go far enough, and that a national standard could actually undo the stronger protections that states have already built. Trump is definitely not alone in trying to keep AI unregulated. AI companies have pledged $265 million for super PACs ahead of the midterms, according to the Wall Street Journal. And a lot of that money is focused on a congressional race in New York, where millions have been spent in attack ads against a candidate by the name of Alex Boris. Now, reports have noted that the attack ads have actually raised Boris's profile. This kind of spending can work. For crypto groups, they spent big money to get Trump into office, and that paid off. And as is often the case with AI, this is a space that we're gonna have to keep watching, right? The technology is cheap, it takes minutes to use, there's barely any enforcement, the president does it, and the companies building the tools are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure that nobody regulates them. That's the environment heading into the midterms. Voters are gonna see videos of candidates saying things they never said, hear audio of politicians making statements they never made, and read fabricated headlines designed to look real. And the disclosures where they even exist, they're gonna be tiny watermarks and corners that nobody reads. And so one of the big questions that voters are gonna have to ask themselves every single time they see a political ad between now and November is this real? Because seemingly, a lot of the people that are making these ads, they are counting on you not asking. When I say you, it's probably not even really you, it's the rest of America. I think the large majority of you have at least a healthy amount of skepticism, some more than even me. In the meantime, whether it's this final story or anything that stood out to you today, I'd love to know your thoughts, reactions, opinions, anything in those comments down below. Because that, my friends, it brings us to the end of your Monday Philip DeFranco Show Dive into the News. For breakdowns on any individual stories, I got you covered in those links in the description, and you have more to watch right now just a click away. Whether it's my In Good Faith podcast and interview with Scott Pawaz today, or if you didn't see it, we did a special extra bonus Philip DeFranco show on the state of the economy and why everyone feels differently about it right now. It's honestly been one of the most loved things we've released in recent memory, but a lot of people missed it because we uploaded it on Friday. Whatever you do, let me just say thank you for watching. I love yo faces, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.
My birth and past are tainted. I fight to reclaim them each day.
It will take more than light to solve our problems.
You're underestimating my light. That's okay.
Lately, the audience has been hitting me up because there's been things falling from the sky. Once again, I remember this happened a few years ago, but now it's happening a lot more and more and more, and we're seeing this. But in this video, we're gonna get into the possibilities of what this could possibly be, man. Just buckle up, don't skip a thing, or you will get lost in the sauce, man. Just know if you're going through a tough time, you're not in this life by yourself. We're going through this thing called life together. You know what I'm saying? But look, smash that like button. Let's get this video to like 20,000 likes, man. Share these videos with your friends and families if y'all rocking with the content. But look, man, we're on our way to 1 million, and I appreciate y'all, man. We building every day. Just pay attention to this one, man. This is interesting, man. The music is crazy though. I just think it's diabolical how like she's really like listening to R. Kelly, bro. Like, we gotta let some things go, man. We gotta let some shit go. That's one of them.
What I'm going to show you is just a single meteor, or what you think is a meteor, and this is usually how you see it go across the sky. Now, let me show you what this truly is that you're seeing. Now, what I'm showing you right here is leaked photos of some government agencies and so their agents in hazmat suits going out into this field collecting this big wiry-looking ball with a hole in the center of it. Now, what this basically is, this is kind of like a coil, like a heater coil. Coil wire harnesses heat, and that's kind of like what this does right here. It harnesses heat. Now, this little hole that you see in the center of it, I'm going to show you what that's for in a second. But like I said, this wire, wrapped wire, harnesses heat, kind of like this right here. Now, this is a car cigarette lighter with a wired coil inside it. And once you plug this in and your negative and your positive connect, it heats that coil up, and you see you get a red glare, fiery red glare, as you can see here. Okay, now, this wire, that's what this wire does. It heats up, and that fireball that you see flying across the sky, well, it's eventually you got to land somewhere, and they've been found all over the place, Australia, Brazil, and everything. So, like I said, that wire ball, it's like the coil, it harnesses the heat. That's the big fireball that you're seeing go across the sky. Now, the hole that you see in the center of that, right here, as you can see in this photo here, now, that's whenever this thing is filled with, I'm not sure what they fill these things with, kind of just like fireworks. And this hole that you're seeing, that's where everything's released from, the gases, the smoke, just like you see right here in this smoke bomb. It looks identical, just about. And here's another one here. And like I said, there's all kinds of these things. You guys can look these up. I just put a few in here just to give you an example, give you an idea what these things look like. But anyways, that hole, like I said, releases the gases, chemicals, smoke, whatever is in this thing. That's where it all releases from. And that smoke that you see go across the sky when this thing is flying across the sky, or falling out of the sky, basically, where they're dropping it out of the airplane. But that hole is where you get this momentum, kind of like a bottle rocket, which all you guys have seen a bottle rocket. Well, same thing. It's got a little hole at the bottom of it, and that's where the flames shoot out at and gives its momentum, and it shoots across the air. And then what happens when it gets up in the air? It pops, of course. Same thing you see here. It's nothing more than just a big fireworks show to deceive you. That's all it is. So the next time you see one of these flying across the sky, just remember, it's just a big firework. That's all it is. Just a big firework to keep you brainwashed. That's all it is.
So think about it. You gotta understand, like, we live in a closed environment. You know, remember, like, if you believe in the Bible, people, like, you know, separated the water from the water and created a firmament.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
I mean, we got technology that keep people brainwashed, just like the green screens from NASA. When you can see the harnesses and you can see mice in space, and there's a bunch of other odd, weird things that's going on, man. Like, come on now, like, it's crazy. The stuff that they put out here and what we believe, but together we're raising the vibrations, man. They can't no longer lie to the masses. Even the people that don't want to believe it. I understand that you want to be comfortable in your beliefs and you want to think that you know everything, but you know, this is the possibilities of what it could be, and shit looking strong.
About everything else, but NASA didn't know about this. Yeah, okay. Look at that shit. Nah, you're gonna have people say it's nothing to worry about. Meteors hit the earth all the time. And you're right. Meteors do hit the earth all the time. But meteors that big, coming that fast, does not hit the earth like that all the time. Let me add, that meteor was moving at 45,000 1,000 miles an hour. And we're not going to act like 45,000 miles an hour is moving at a slow pace. Yeah, all right. We ain't even make it to the middle of 2026 yet. And look at all the shit that's happening. I'm out.
So the moment they change their story, they're lying. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I seen an unidentified plane flying around Gatlinburg the other day. Military came, ran it off. Next thing I know, the skies was grayed out with, the lines and all. The official story coming down was a tourist got lost trying to find McGee Tyson Airport and had to be redirected and guided back to there. I don't believe that one bit. As of this morning, it's now a survey plane doing surveys for the top of the mountain here and in Granger and in Morristown and all kinds of different things. That's two different stories, not the same story that what I saw. Neither one of the stories that they are putting out matches what happened. I know they're trying to discredit my videos, but I'm telling you, I saw what I saw. I'm not the only one who saw that. That was a unmarked, blue and white, little tiny, old-looking prop plane circling around Gatlinburg for about 5 circles, and then the military ran it off. Next thing you know, there's planes going over, there's lines, all that good stuff. It's gray. Official story was it was a tourist. Now the official story was it's a survey. What's the real story now? Have an awesome day.
Today is National Alien Abduction Day. Who knew? And to celebrate, the New York Post has reported that New York jumps to the #3 spot for U.S. alien abductions. This
Not going to New York, huh?
comes just 2 days after the United States government registered aliens.gov as a domain. Can anyone say predictive programming? But it doesn't stop with New York. This article came with a full map of the United States detailing where you're most likely to be abducted. It's not exclusive to the United States. If you live in Canada, you should also watch out. Even though mainstream media is saying that Trump's approval rating is 100% with the war in Iran, Polymarket tells a different story. And anytime ratings are this low, cue a distraction. And we've seen this playbook a lot lately. After Charlie Kirk's assassination investigation was going nowhere, the United States captured Venezuela's President Maduro. And then when no one would stop talking about the Epstein files, war with Iran. So it only makes sense that the next distraction is going to be aliens, so if you live in New York, you better watch out. As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
Sounds like they're getting ready to hit everybody with that blue beam. They prepping for that thing, boy. They want their way out of these damn files. I feel it, because we on y'all ass, but we not going to forget. We not going to forget. We're going to keep talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy, man. One distraction after another. And y'all got to understand how blue beam works, you know? Like, they can get you to feel the emotions of what's real in the sky, not just only showing you pictures of or giving you projections of things that's real. They can actually, by frequencies, put these emotions in you. So a lot of people will definitely fall for it, man. And we do have our own technology like UFOs and stuff like that. So they come pick y'all up. It's probably not going to be the people that you was looking for.
A lot of people have asked on my Easter prediction video how I've come to this conclusion, and they think that I'm just making it up out of thin air. First of all, obviously, a lot of people commented about the Chris Bledsoe prediction, which that's what it's primarily based on. But I was trying to connect some more dots in terms of what events are going to lead us to that point, right? Because he did say that the lady told him, and I read the book last year. I've got it somewhere around here. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me if I don't get every detail exactly right, because I'm sure someone's going to jump in the comments and say, but it was actually, whatever, dude. When the Sphinx sets its gaze on the horizon, on a red star, a new knowledge will be given to humanity. That's the first piece of this puzzle. Now, this was something that he said in 2012. And so we're either looking at a decade-plus long CIA psyop, or we're looking at true prophecy. And I don't know. And maybe it's neither. Maybe we see nothing come of any of this, and it's all for nothing. But then we end up after Easter or sometime later this year scratching our heads saying, okay, what was that all about? Because there was an enormous amount of time and energy invested into this whole story. Okay, so you remember when Space Force came out, and we all kind of laughed at it and thought it was sort of insane because Trump is crazy, right? It's not as crazy anymore. I think a lot of us have kind of come to the conclusion that, yeah, perhaps we're not alone. Perhaps there's space and there are other entities or civilizations in space, or maybe this is it and we're all just being lied to and we're under a dome on a flat plane and that's that. Regardless, the Space Force does exist, and the most recent iteration came out recently to study non-human intelligence, and this is their logo. So regardless of if any of this comes true or not, there's definitely a story being created. There's breadcrumbs being laid here. And I am following the breadcrumbs. I'm not completely nuts. And there's a lot more pieces of the puzzle we could connect here. For example, the deactivated weapons, which is spoken about in Lou Elizondo's Imminent. I read that maybe a year and a half ago. But there are government documents that indicate that this has happened on numerous occasions. So my theory is based on all these little breadcrumbs, right? It's not just out of left field. I've committed quite a bit of time to considering this. I wouldn't say this if I thought it was completely insane. Like, I think there's a lot of people that tend to agree that there's a possibility of something like this happening. So you can go watch my last TikTok if you don't know what I'm talking about. But basically, there's something coming around Easter, according to someone else. I'm trying to extrapolate more details for that, for the rest of you, and we'll see what happens.
Y'all have got to see this. Why is an old 4chan post talking about a broken ceasefire leading to World War III, leading to an alien invasion? Why is it that these old 4chan posts always seem to manifest right in front of us? So let's read this and see how accurate it is. You can see it says 6/22/25. I put up on the screen. Israel breaks ceasefire and strikes Iran. It's kind of weird. Trump responds with B-2 bunker busters on nuclear sites. Weird. Iran hits all Gulf oil fields and U.S. bases, blocks Hormuz, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Is that not exactly what is happening? It happened last night. Oil prices skyrocket, blackouts in Africa and the third world. Of course, we have that happening in Cuba as well. U.S. sends 3 aircraft carriers. At least 2 sunk by Iran, Russia, and China using self-unalive tactics. This is insane. This is like the point that we're supposed to be at, coming here pretty soon. U.S. tries amphibious invasion, first fails with massive casualties. Second attempt succeeds. By the way, Bibi just came out and said that they are putting boots on the ground in Iran. Oil field seized, advance halts, U.S. civil war begins. Anti-war bloc takes D.C. with military support. U.S. splits into 2 and retreats from the Middle East. And by the way, it's supposed to happen all by 2027. We have like the 2026 doomsday map, And of course, we had that really weird site that people would use to get analytics, especially geopolitically and military-wise, which also showed some great reduction in population happening. So it's kind of weird how this all comes together. Turkey betrays NATO. That is seemingly how it's going to go. Joined Russia, Iran, China alliance. China invades Taiwan. Now, look, this is all bound to happen, obviously. Russia's going to take Europe like the George Orwell map. We know China's been waiting to go in on Taiwan for years now, and they're surrounding it right as we speak. North Korea invades South Korea. Of course, Japan fails to stop it. The president was just meeting with Japan earlier today. Fast forward, a bunch of tactical nuke things happen. And then it says 3 weeks of nuclear events, and then a fake alien invasion begins. MJ-12 releases synthetic alien soldiers. By the way, these are all, the classified government documents that talk about all this stuff, Majestic 12 and Project Blue Book. PLFs hunt survivors, FEMA camps classify people as useful or undesirable. By 2027, 5 billion have been unalived. Fake aliens defeat the help of the real ones. I told you there'd be a good cop, bad cop with aliens, but they're all friggin' evil. One world government under MJ-12 and the UN, Dome of the Rock destroyed. Script complete. Insane stuff. Let me know what you think below.
All wars are planned. Bye.
Wait, no. Don't leave.
I don't surrender, but y'all actually didn't want to surrender. This is just a fucking waste of time. Like, what was those tank decisions against 2 fucking me?
Does that mean that all government activity is fake? And then I got another question. Who planned them? Then I got one more. what's the reason that they planned them? What is the impact?
This should limit any damage.
What's the real reason? Like, I appreciate videos like this because you're thinking, you're connecting the dots, you're putting everything together. You're getting all the way to the point where, guess what? Everybody is in on it. Remember when you used to say, oh, well, if that was true, then everybody would have to be in on it. She just named everybody. She just named everybody. She just named everybody. Yeah, I gotta start looking at this and seeing, hey, this government, country, society, all this shit is fake. This whole reality is fake. It's fake. So stop stressing yourself out about trying to figure out what this and this and this and that, what that is, and what politician did this, and what president said this, and bam, 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 bam. Stop doing all of that. You're wasting your time. What you need to look at is start at the end of this video that she just gave you and say, okay, if everything is fake, what is real? And start going through the things that they told you were not real and look at them as if they were. I bet you everything will change immediately.
For those with eyes that can see, how long do you think we have here in America before things drastically change overnight?
To the average person, I would say get your board in the water and prepare to paddle like all get out. The tsunami of a lifetime is coming, and nothing your elders have seen is going to prepare. There's no good advice to give that's specific. Let's put it this way. One of the things when people tell me about their moving from one city to another, I have a phrase that nobody likes, which is every place is over. Oh, I'm moving to Austin. Yeah, it's over. Miami, it's over. Nashville, over. All these places are over. And every occupation that is named is over. I'm going to be a dentist, radiologist, accountant, teacher. These are all over. Whatever's coming, get flexible. Get good. Get good on a bunch of different stuff. Learn how to think across disciplines. I have no idea what's going to be left for us. But somebody's going to come out on top. And I hate to tell people that you should try to come out on top. I don't think it's healthy to have everyone trying to be world class. I think you should be able to just have a life. I have a golden retriever. I don't know that it's the greatest golden retriever in the world. Sometimes I think it is, but he does a lot of dumb stuff. But he's my golden retriever. I just don't think it. I think that this mania for optimization, like if you look at your own videos, you'll find some of the best performing videos are, this is how to succeed. This is how to get anyone you want. This is how to get out of a bad situation. People just want capacity. But for what? Okay, you've optimized your day. You've optimized your health. Your social media is optimized. Now what?
So again, how long do you think we have until things drastically change here in America? Would love your thoughts below.
Get here.
Invited.
This Operation Paperclip after World War II, SHIELD recruited German scientists with strategic value.
They thought I could help their cause. I also helped my own. After the war, SHIELD was founded, and I was recruited. The new Hydra grew, a beautiful parasite inside SHIELD. For 70 years, Hydra has been secretly feeding crisis, reaping war. And when history did not cooperate, history was changed.
That's impossible. SHIELD would have stopped you.
Accidents will happen. Hydra created a world so chaotic that humanity is finally ready to sacrifice its freedom to gain its security. Once the purification process is complete, Hydra's new world order will arise.
It was not what we thought it was.
It's been taken over by Hydra.
Alexander Pierce is their leader. The Strike and Insight crew are Hydra as well.
I don't know how many more, but I know they're in the building. They could be standing right next to you.
They almost have what they want. Absolute control.
They shot Nick Fury, and it won't end there. If you launch those helicarriers today, Hydra will be able to kill anyone that stands in their way. Unless we stop them. I know I'm asking a lot. But the price of freedom is high. It always has been. And it's a price I'm willing to pay. And if I'm the only one, then so be it.
Look, man. Hey, you already know the sentiment we've been taking over. It's the reason why the government does strange things for a little piece of change. You know what I'm saying? That's because they got something on all of them. They've been compromised. And you can see that with relation to the Epstein files. They eating babies and they've been compromised. Some of them are not themselves anymore. Just like the reference of this movie with everything, it lines up perfectly. Like, a lot of the government has been taken over. And they've been showing us this shit in predictive programming with like The Simpsons and everything else. It's more than the prediction. They already know. They just have to kind of tell your ass just a little bit.
The 6G now. I just finished 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how perfect it is?
6G is coming in 2030. That's the public launch. But testing began years ago in controlled zones across Virginia, Osaka, and EU smart grids. And here's what they won't tell you. 6G doesn't connect your phone. It connects you. In 2023, DARPA and ATIS ran a closed pilot across federal buildings in Northern Virginia. The tech? 6G presence nodes, powered by terahertz bands that don't just transfer data, they mirror you. Each user's gait, tone, even heart rhythm became part of the signal loop. The system adjusted light, sound, even push notifications based on real-time biometric drift. It's called adaptive ambient sync, and it's not theory. In the Arlington test zone, over 200 participants unknowingly entered what the internal logs labeled a behavioral sync cluster. Result? 68% changed walking pace within 90 seconds. 52% began mirroring posture. Average voice pitch dropped 12 hertz across the zone, without prompt or audio cue. This isn't cellular, it's presence modulation, backed by Samsung's 6G white paper, verified in Hexa-X testbeds, and buried in Appendix 9 of the Defense Communications Futures Report, blackbarred until last quarter. You were never the user, you were the interface. Want out? Disrupt the loop, delay touch input, break rhythm, avoid high-band hotspots during emotional peaks. Because with 6G, you're not browsing, you're being tuned. Tuesday accessed the relay logs. They weren't encrypted, because they assumed no one would read drift code but them. Now you have.
I'm fucking tired of this fucking shit. I'm fucking tired of this fucking shit. I can't believe how fucking tired I am of this fucking shit.
I'm fucking tired of this fucking...
Let's decode this facial expression of Kash Patel that has been making the rounds on the internet. Now, I was actually going to start my day with decoding this expression, and I found it so discombobulating that I actually instead started to code the facial expression of Ted Bundy. So that says a lot. So the main piece of what we're seeing is this hard pullback of the upper eyelids, which is the full upper part of the facial expression of fear. The facial expression of fear is not usually held. So it's usually a very quick response, both in the eyes and the mouth. And then once that fear or that shock is gone, we let it go. So when the upper part of the facial expression of fear is held for a duration of time, so much so that either the expression keeps repeating itself or it's held almost so that it becomes the baseline, then something is really off. And there are a number of names for that gaze, for that facial expression. I call it the disassociated gaze because it's a disconnecting from our humanity or from our feelings, from our emotional state. In law enforcement, sometimes in the military or in the ER, they call it crazy eyes. And this is because it can be a precursor to violence. If you see somebody come into the ER or so you're chasing somebody on the street and they're walking around with this gaze.
I'm not chasing nobody with eyeballs popping from their head like that. Who the hell chasing them?
They might be on drugs. They might be responding to PTSD, and they might be emotionally very, very volatile. So there is a reason that it's sending that signal to our nervous system that something is really, really off. This facial expression may be a trauma response. Maybe that the person is walking around in constant terror. It may be that they're really overwhelmed, overstimulated, and disconnecting from all of their emotions. But in any case, it is a huge red flag. Now, I do want to make note of the fact that those of us who are neurodivergent, or those of us who have individuals, friends, family members, loved ones, colleagues that are on the spectrum of autism, we do know that this is sometimes a facial expression that people will make when they're very, very overwhelmed and overstimulated. So it is not necessarily a facial expression that is going to lead to violence, but it is telling us that their nervous system is completely overwhelmed. However, when you do see it in a stranger, or your nervous system is giving you other signals that this person may not be safe, I want you to pay close attention to it. My other rule has always been that when somebody's making this facial expression as part of their baseline, they're making it repetitively. If it's a friend or a loved one, try to get them some help. Try to have a conversation with them, see what you can do to be supportive. Maybe they need professional help. Do not leave somebody with this facial expression in charge of your children. I'm Annie Sonnenblatt, and I teach facial expressions.
Well, he more than in charge of our damn children. That's definitely concerning. I know when I seen his facial expression, I was clearly concerned from the beginning. Let me know how y'all felt about this man's facial expression when you first seen him do that shit. I already knew that shit's just not normal. And if you can read the room, the people that are deeply connected, like with frequencies and stuff, you can feel the vibes. That's why they say, Kendrick Lamar, please don't kill my vibe. You can feel it, bro. You can feel it. We just gotta tap back in and pay more attention to it, and we can avoid a lot of things. Like a nigga walk in, his eyeballs popping out his head like that. I'm telling y'all, no matter what, I'm leaving. I don't want to be here enough to be around that. You know, I can sense what's going on. Something ain't right. That clearly reads to me. Let me know if y'all feel the same about it in the comments down below. But why is he stressed out like that? I wonder why. Why is he concerned? I wonder why.
So nobody gonna talk about the fact that the government just secured alien.gov like that's normal. As y'all can see, it's right there, alien.gov, registered on March 17th. You gotta sit there and ask yourself, why now? Why would they do this now? It wouldn't be because they're gearing up for something to happen, right? It wouldn't be because the movie Disclosure Day is coming out, right? I'm letting y'all know right now, things are ramping up very quickly. Y'all pay attention. I know y'all been seeing over the last couple of days, asteroids been entering Earth. And I be sitting there like, ain't they supposed to know when this is coming? Like, they can detect it, right? But then I seen one today where they said it was an asteroid, but instead of it going down, the jump started going up, down, around. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck could that be? Then I started thinking again, how many satellites do Elon got in space? What's the fastest way to make a one world government? Thoughts down below in the comments.
Their email, V told me that this happened a couple of years ago. They were at a party in their hometown. All their friends were there, people that they knew loosely, people that they didn't really know. And at the party was this one guy who they said that we can just call Mike. Mike was pretty well known locally as the guy who almost made it. They said that Mike was a super talented musician. He really only played the local bar scene, which wasn't much because their town was small. But at one point, Mike almost had it all. The record deal, the fame, the money. But he just came back home. As this party goes on, it's getting later and later. V said that they are some of the last people there. It's V, two of her friends, Mike, and the host. V said, I'm the designated driver. At this point, it's 2 a.m. I'm ready to go home. He could tell by the way that Mike was talking that he was highly inebriated. He did not need to be behind the wheel, so V offered to take him home. Even though it was going to be 30 minutes out of the way, as long as that kept someone safe, V was fine with it. Mike agrees, and they all pile into the car. Mike sits in the front seat. V's two friends sit in the back seat. V is driving. As V turns the car on and they start to pull out, the radio comes on, and Mike leans over and asks, hey, can you turn that off? V said they don't really think about it at all, and they're like, sure, no problem. Turns off the radio. Mike says, I could have been on the radio. And he just kind of laughs. He doesn't really seem like he regrets it or he's upset about it. He's just making a statement. I could have done this. He is just casually driving along at this point, just kind of looks at Mike and says, well, you know what? Maybe that lifestyle just wasn't for you. Maybe you're just, happy where you are. He said that Mike got this 50-yard stare looking out the windshield and just says, you have no idea. He's just driving along and says to Mike, oh, just a little too much fun for you, Mike, a little too much partying going on. And Mike got this 50-yard stare on his face and he said, no, what they do isn't fun, it's twisted. He says they glance in the rearview mirror to make sure that their friends are catching this, and they are. They make eye contact, and their friends are like, yeah, we're picking up on this. One of the friends from the back seat says, oh, like what? Because at this point, they were thinking, okay, Mike is about to tell us about some of the craziest parties, rugs that we don't even know about. But that's not the direction that Mike takes. Mike just asks everybody in the car, have you ever seen The Mage? Everyone in the car says, yes, we've seen The Mage. And Mike says, but have you really seen them age? Because if you look at them, have you ever noticed that they get this work done as they age and get older? Do you really think with all the money they have that they can't afford a good plastic surgeon? He said those people that you see that have had work done, those are not them. Those are the stand-ins. They are paid to age, to have their faces botched and live a lifestyle with a lot of money, but that's not them. The friends from the back seat says, well, I've seen some of them age naturally. And once that cycle is complete, they'll pop back up. They'll become famous again. Because what's easier, training someone new on how the system works or just recycling the same people who've already accepted it over and over and over? So V, entertaining this because V says, I love the rantings of drunk people, asks, okay, so what are they then? Mike looks at V and just says, old. V says you could have heard a pin drop in that car. Nobody's making a noise. They're all looking at Mike. They're waiting for what's about to come next. Mike goes on to tell them they've always been here. They haven't always been the same thing. It's not the fame that they want. It's the worshiping. It's that energy because you want to love them. You admire them. And then they feed off of that. They've been called different things. Celebrities, kings, queens, prophets, whatever, throughout history. But they're the same thing. When enough time has gone on that people are going to notice that they're not aging naturally or not aging the way that they should, they'll hire these people to come be stand-ins. They'll have their faces completely botched with this work because people really believe that these celebrities who have millions and billions of dollars cannot afford a good plastic surgeon, and they'll step in and they'll go into hiding until the system is ready to recycle them. He said that nobody in the car makes a noise. Nobody's saying anything. Everybody's freaked out, wondering what the heck is going on. Mike keeps going, and he tells them, I wasn't easy to control. So even though, yeah, I could have stayed, I could have become famous, I could have gotten in with this, I didn't, because I'm free and they're never going to be free. So I won. V says her friend, who is just as drunk as Mike from the back seat, just chimes in and is like, so they just go from one body to another, just like souls, their soul just switches bodies. And Mike says, what soul? They don't have that anymore because you can live forever, but you're gonna have to make a bad deal. And Mike said, I was not making that deal. So even though they have the fame, they have the money, they have the record deals, they have all of it, they have people who love them, they're not free. They will never be free because everything has a price. At this point, they're getting close to Mike's house, so it's completely silent until they pull up. Mike opens the door, he gets out, he leans back, he looks in at everybody in the car, and he says, the one thing that I will tell you is if you're ever around them, do not let them know how much you admire them, especially if they look hungry. That's too bad. Okay? But Mike gets out, goes inside his house, and he's gone. V's friend from the backseat gets in the front seat, kind of puts their hand on top of V's hand and is like, I think that guy's done a lot of drugs. V says that they're like, I think so. They said this was one of the weirdest conversations they have ever had with someone, and they just wanted to share. It could very well be the ramblings of a melted brain and somebody who has done a lot of extracurricular activities.
Faces of the Kennedy Center board from meeting. Notice anything? Then look at the comments. I had to go look at the comments. I'm sorry, y'all, when I seen this. Remember that episode? Lizards.
All the chaos. And so I'll set you up.
Mar-a-Lago face. All plastic, no soul.
BY is real. This is probably one of the most shocking videos that I've ever had to do. Alfredo Darrington Bowman, aka Dr. Sebi, was a psychological operation, which means who they say he was is not the case. What they said happened to him is not the case, and that also means that his name is numerically generated, made up to match psychological operation. For all of the people that are about to say, let that man rest, put sheep emojis underneath their comment. For all the people that are about to say, he's 82 years old, put sheep emojis underneath their comment. They are not ready to witness what's really going on in this world of Hollywood. And then we have Grandmaster Raw Food Chef Dr. Iris Latham, who started to gain his fame shortly after the passing of Dr. Sebi. But his name just so happens to match the same people that run this matrix, the same people that have been oppressing you all these years. You see, the people that have already commented, they don't even look alike. He was 82 years old. He was an old man. They're emotional. They're afraid to find out what I'm about to expose because they'd rather live in that fantasy that this man isn't who I said he is. So if you're ready to learn what really happened, we can keep going forward. All the sheep stay right here. We'll be back. Show you how I do this shit. To be living in this matrix and not understanding their playbook is handicapping you. Both generated names equals 69 in the same exact cipher. They are telling you this is the same person. Oh, and speaking of 69, Dr. Latham was the age of 69 when Dr. Sebi passed. Shout out to the idiots in the comments. They don't look alike. I know, dumbass. Silicone mask, silicone bodysuits. I prove this day in and day out. This is why I'm able to tell y'all soul transferring ain't real, because nobody has been able to prove it yet. This is why I'm able to tell y'all cloning ain't real, because nobody's been able to prove it yet. I can prove this though.
That's not true. Cloning is very real and it's already been proven.
Same dislocated pinky finger. All old people get that. All old people, shut the fuck up. And just shut the fuck up. You're not even gonna try to play with me like that, or anybody watching this video. If I'm lying about what I'm saying, why does it keep numerically lining up? Dr. Latham's birthday is a day that leaves 160 days left in the year. Dr. Sebi, spell the whole name out, it equals 160. And from the death date of Dr. Sebi to what would have been his upcoming birthday, that is a total of 16 weeks, 0 days. Can't make this shit up. Dr. Sebi is from Honduras. They say Dr. R.S. Latham is from Panama. They both equal 116 in the same exact cipher. They're still telling you. The name Dr. Sebi equals 42. And in the same calendar year, from R.S. Latham's birthday to Dr. Sebi's birthday is a total of 4 months and 2 days. It's not hard to see who he is working for, and he is telling you with his hands. How is this man able to have 1 million followers as a holistic chef? Hell, I mean, how does Yaki Awaken have over 1 million followers as a holistic healer? Because real holistic people and real holistic pages don't make it to 1 mil. They may get 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. It will never be 1 mil. If you make it to 1 million followers on IG or TikTok, whatever the case is, you are working for them. Case closed. So many people always get mad at me because they say I'm always attacking our community. And I say to that, who said that these people are on your side? What y'all want me to do? Make videos about Donald Trump, Charlie Kirk, JD Vance? For what? Those are the devils you know. I'm trying to show you the devils that you don't know. Dr. Sebi's family is on The Breakfast Club. Like, that's not a agent radio station podcast. Like, come on now. Let's be for real. The people that they put on TV for you to love and enjoy, it was all scripted from the get-go. If it was organic, these people would not be in the spotlight. That is an agent. That is a celebrity. Trying to get you to wake the fuck up. You don't need nobody to guide you. Guide yourself. From within. There's more coming. My name is B.Y. Israel. I don't do conspiracies. I do real ass information. And as always,
men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
I mean, look, I get it. How y'all feel about that clip right there? A lot of people be getting their feelings about that, especially when you compare them to somebody that you cherish or you love or something like that. It's hard for people to digest that, and especially the way the tone of people's voices, how they speak on certain topics. It just trigger you, turn you off from the information. But one thing I did get from it is I do understand the numerology, and I understand where they're coming from with that. Like, regardless of how you feel, I mean, I get it. But let me know in the comments down below if you think that that's a good representation of what they're doing. I do have to say that cloning is very real. Like, come on, how many of us don't know that? You know, not all of us know every little bit and piece, and include myself, but I do know that cloning is real. And they can do surgeries to make people look like you. They've paid people to step in for doubles, and it is what it is. I don't want to get too deep into that, but y'all get what I'm saying, man. So the possibilities are endless. Like, let me know in the comments down below which way you're leaning on that.
All right, man, it could be the shrooms again, but listen, I'm upstairs listening to one of my favorite songs. I'm listening to that Goo Goo Dolls, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? That I just don't want the world to see me, cause I don't think that they'd understand. Sitting here thinking about it, I never really paid attention to the lyrics of that song, man. But now that I think about it, that song demonic. That's a fallen angel song. That song is about fallen angel love. Listen to the words of this shit, man. Man just said, and I give up forever to touch you, cause I know that you feel me somehow. Listen to that, man. That man just said he'll give up eternity. That's fallen angel, baby. That's Genesis 6. I swear to God, that motherfucker, when the sons of God saw and knew the daughters of man that they were fair and took it to them wives, bitch. Pay attention, man. I know you heard that. My man said, you're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't want to go home right now. Listen to me. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be. That means he can never go to heaven. He know he can't go to heaven. He can, and he called it home. That's what I'm saying. He know it's home, but he can't go back. Sound like a fallen angel to me. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't want to go home right now. He called it home, nigga. All I could taste is this moment, and all I could breathe is your life. Nigga, that sound like when they was eating us, baby. They was eating us. They still is. I'm just saying. Hypothetically, TikTok this for entertainment purposes. But listen up. See, and they know their time coming to an end. My man said sooner or later it's over, and I just don't want to miss you tonight. He know what it is. He know what it is. Their time has come to an end, bitch. And then what he say? Listen up. He say, I just don't want the world to see me, because I don't think they'd understand. You see why everything's made to be broken? I just want you to know who I am. Listen to me. Y'all just some vessels, baby. Yeah, you ain't even did it. Your vessel crashes, it dies, and you reborn again, right? Check this out. Check this out. You just a vessel. I'm going to be here all the time, baby. I just need you to know who I am.
Just as expected.
Think I'm tripping? Let me know in the comments, man. I'm telling you, it could be the shrooms. But then again, I could be onto something, nigga. Follow me for more.
Damn, that was a good rendition of like what it would be like a fallen angel. You love but you hate it. Like it sounded like that song right there was like on the verge of like I love this so much, but that I can't love you enough. But I'm here for you. I just want you to feel me. But I still want to eat your ass too at the same time. That's what I got from them. Is that what they doing? Let me know in the comments down below. But is that a low vibration that's still trying to connect with you and we have to move on? Let me know in the comments down below.
The question is, why would the mother of billionaires, why would Beyonce's mother be down at the Houston rodeo selling gumbo to the great unwashed, but with the guy standing there recording on his phone and Mama Knowles making it a point to say something to him about recording? What was that about? What was that about? I want you guys to let me know why you think. Let me know in the comment section. Why do you think she was selling gumbo, number one? And number two, why did she have a problem with the brother recording them selling the gumbo? That's my question.
Y'all greedy asses see what's going on with Mama Knowles and that damn gumbo, right? You see, the problem is y'all trust people too much. Soon as shit start trending, y'all do what the trend say. You had numerous people go and get that gumbo and said that gumbo was nasty. You had numerous people go and get that gumbo and say Mama Knowles had an attitude. And then you had another woman say that she wasn't about to give her money to a luau. And I don't think you know what that is. But you see, the quickest way for somebody to do something to you is through your stomach. Now all of a sudden, Houston Health Department is shutting her down. They're investigating her gumbo stand. You got people saying they got sick after they ate this gumbo. Now let me ask you this. What y'all think she put in this gumbo? I heard a girl say gumbo ain't supposed to be that dark. Now me, I ain't a gumbo specialist. I ain't never had gumbo before. But tell me what you think she put in this gumbo. Matter of fact, look at what this lady said about Mama Knowles.
Turn around the camera.
Listen to this.
Awful experience. It was terrible. I haven't even tasted the gumbo yet, but my feelings are so hurt. Miss Tina did me.
Wow. Somebody said they overcharging for the gumbo too. Saying they charging $25 for a little cup of gumbo. And people saying that you can get a big thing of gumbo for $13. Come on now. Cause you a celebrity? Mama Knowles. People love you cause you Beyonce Mama Knowles.
Oh my God. This tastes like water. That they added some. You know the seasoning for noodles? That's what it tastes like, the noodle juice. It is bad. Oh Lord, please, I can't. All right, I gotta go.
It stinks. It smells like burnt fish stuff. Like burnt fish stuff with gravy.
I like to, but the smell is
I can't even go through with taking a real taste. I'm going to pass, and I'm going to leave that shit for the dogs. I'm going to set it over there where she can have her shit back.
I just ate some of Mama Tina gumbo at the rodeo. And look. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, Mama Tina. It's spoiled, but it feels horrible. Yeah, I see I'm sweating. I just
I give it a 5.
That girl says she is not finna give her money to a luau. And I believe her because she got an accent. So I know she know what she talking about. Everybody who ate Tina Knowles gumbo, this gumbo, the reason why y'all sick is because y'all don't know what the fuck she put in that damn gumbo. And see, if you know anything about luau, you know that they last for 101 days. The curse lasts for at least 101 days. That means whatever the fuck going on with y'all stomach right now, you finna feel that shit for the next 2, 3, 4 months. And what's crazy is that y'all ran out there to buy this gumbo just because Tina Knowles' name is behind it. Talking about, oh, we might be eating human remains, but 16 to 18 hours to make gumbo. And yes, you do not eat gumbo. You don't cook gumbo in the heat. You just don't do that. Anybody who's cooked gumbo should know that. And why would a woman that's otherwise wealthy be out here selling $25 cups of gumbo? Do y'all even use y'all brain sometimes before y'all just run out here and try to, because y'all want to be a part of something?
And that's the thing that get me too. Like, and on top of that, like they said she had an attitude. I don't eat from nobody. If I feel like you got an attitude, I'm not eating from there at all. Like, fuck up the vibe, you fuck up the food, right? But I mean, I think like that. I think critically about stuff like that. Like, I don't trust anybody. Especially you're a billionaire, and then all of a sudden, like, you open up a stand selling food. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Health department shuts her down.
I went to the doctor today. They gave me this. I have to poop in here. Then I have to use this scooper that's inside of that one, scoop it in there. I have to put this in the freezer. Then I have to put the poop, or the diarrhea, in these tubes as well. This is 8 different tubes that I have to fill up with shit. They also drew my blood. Okay.
These people are test subjects for a new experiment.
Drew my blood to make sure they basically testing for everything. So whatever it is that made me sick, we're gonna find it out ASAP. They told me it could take a week for the labs to come back. I've already put in the request for the official report, the official inspector report from the health department. Since people are saying, oh, that's not the health department that texts me, it is. Why would I get on the internet to just lie about some shit? If it was just nasty, I would have said that. And then people talking about, oh, you don't like Beyonce. It has nothing to do with liking Beyonce. I love Beyonce. In fact, we're related on my dad's mother's side. Like, literally, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with that. I became violently ill after eating the gumbo. It has everything to do with the fact that the health department shut the stand down because the food was handled improperly. When I spoke to the health department, the man, his name is Justin, he's the inspector. And I told him what went on with me. He went out there the exact same day. They went out there immediately. They saw things that were wrong. They were supposed to be preparing the gumbo at a nearby restaurant that was approved, licensed on the permit. They were not cooking the fucking gumbo at the licensed place. They were cooking it at an unlicensed place, moving it to another unlicensed place. Go sit down, Snoopy. Then moving it to the rodeo. Get on the couch and sit down. Then moving it to the rodeo. They found foods that were supposed to be frozen that were not frozen. Meaning, if something is supposed to be frozen and it's not frozen, food poisoning. They didn't test the gumbo. They didn't do any of that. They shut it down. They made them throw all of the gumbo away, and they made them stop serving. Okay? If the health department shuts you down, that means that you were not on the up and up. You were not doing the proper things. There's no way, if you're doing the correct things as you stated in your permit, that the health department can come in and shut you down. Okay? I have no reason to lie. I told y'all the complaint.
But yeah, man, just let me know how y'all feel about this video. We touched on a few different topics leading into a big event. Are they trying to blue beam us? Are they trying to poison us? They're trying to give us illusions so these frequencies could make us believe that certain things are coming back to save us when we need to really be saving ourselves. We save ourselves first, y'all. Before anybody comes to save us, we save ourselves. If you're a part of the Most High, God, whatever you want to call it, if you were created from source, then we have everything that we need here together. We fight back before anybody comes to save us. Not to say that we're not going to receive help at some point, but we save ourselves first. And if like we think for our children, like, I'd rather have a son that fights back and goes down in a blaze of glory, say a fist fight or something, and you do what you got to do to protect yourself, versus you crumbling up into a ball and letting somebody beat on you over and over and over again. I have a proud moment. So we got to think about our creator, source, whatever you want to call it, in that type of light. He's going to love you regardless. But we were already, I would be, if me as a father, I would be more proud of my children that they protected themselves and they fought for themselves before I even had to step in. That's a fun, if you think logically and fundamentally about this world that we live in, y'all, most of y'all will agree. You'll be proud of your children for taking those strides in their life and becoming better, because you've already prepared them. You've already set the tone for the life that they need to be living and how they need to live it. And when they start living in their truth and stepping for themselves, you're proud. Those are proud moments that we speak of. But if you're sitting around and you're being bullied and picked on and everything, and you can't fend for yourself, that's a little frustrating. Can we agree? I'll be a little bit, I'm not saying I'll be disappointed, but I would definitely feel some type of way. I don't know how to describe it right now. I would feel some type of way because I've showed you better. It's in our DNA. It's in our blood. We in this shit together, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me know how y'all feel about this video. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm not trying to make y'all believe anything. We think for ourselves here, and I do appreciate y'all for being on this journey with me. Every last one of y'all. But like I always say, spread love, because there's too much hate in this world. Love you guys. See y'all in the next video. And I'm out though. Blah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. When I die, please make AI videos of me saying crazy shit and causing havoc. Now, I don't think BB's dead, mind you, but what a great story if he were dead and he was like still causing international incidents while dead. He's not dead. From the people I've spoken to, he's not dead, but it's a nice idea that whenever a leader were to die now, we just have to sift through things that they put out and wonder, is this real? Is this not? This guy's saying Genghis Khan is going to beat Jesus. That would be so much more funny if he were dead. If he were dead and then they were sitting there and they go, BB's got a list of things he wants us to use AI to make him say. And then one of them is Genghis Khan has the advantage over Jesus because evil wins, according to Benjamin Netanyahu. And a lot of people are thinking the guy's dead. I don't think he's dead. But this is like big speculation. I've even texted people. I've said, hey, is this guy dead? And then people were like, well, we don't think so, but we don't really know. And then people are sending you videos back and forth of him like, yeah, here he is. This is Bibi Netanyahu, still alive, perhaps.
Also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good.
Which side are we, BB? Stop that for a minute. Hold on. Who are we? Now that we've united with you, who are we here? Are we Genghis Khan? What are we? We're not the Jesus side, right? Tell me exactly who are we in this allegory? What exactly is this? Continue.
So you have no choice
but to kill them all.
If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see.
Right.
That the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves
against people who aren't
to oppose
threatened.
their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger.
Did you just say the jarring gong of danger? Roll that back.
Before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harking
this
on
guy, hold on. This is the drug addict in the house who's got all the family in the living room going, everybody accuses me of everything. Nobody trusts me. Every time money is missing, you ask me about it. My boyfriend was in this house for 5 minutes, and yet you think me and him took your money. This is insane. I'm going to move out, and I'm going to move out because I have been attacked. The relentless attacks from the people in this house, all the while she's got your money in the pocket. Like this, I have never seen a more violent person talk more about the need for peace. It's the craziest. I've never in my life seen gaslighting like this. This is the most violent person I've ever seen. This guy cannot get out of a war. They're in wars you don't even know they're in. Ground troops in Lebanon. He's got guys talking shit to Turkey already. This guy's so off the chain. And yet he's talking about peace and Jesus and Genghis Khan. And even if you have, righteousness with you, that's not enough. You gotta confront all the enemies. And all the enemies are anyone he thinks is an enemy or who could become an enemy. It's the gaslighting of the century. It is the drug addict in your house. Every household has a drug addict who gets on a soapbox and starts saying, I cannot believe I am being accused again of stealing money from my older sister. I don't have to take this just because I've been to rehab 5 times and you found the money in my room and I don't know who put it there, but it was to frame me. I will not participate in this. I've never seen a person, because the thing about Bibi Netanyahu is he's kind of soft-spoken. He's not, I'm not going to say he's unsuspecting because he's certainly not. He's been around a bit. But I mean, this guy, he cannot, there's nothing that will be enough for him. And the people that really support this, the people that are like, well, it is in America's interest to be in an unwinnable war with Iran and have the Straits of Hormuz closed and have oil go up and have, potential repercussions financially and to lose all their relationships with the Gulf states and to have the Gulf pull money out of projects in Silicon Valley and Wall Street and Hollywood and all these different places and have our economy go belly up and have a draft and then a nuclear war. It is in America's interest. And if you suggest otherwise, you're an anti-Semite and a pig. It's everything I just listed is happening. It's not like a thing that might happen. It's literally happening. We're not in. Get Pete Hegseth up. This guy, he's coming out every few days and going, "We're winning this war," and there's no evidence of that. Every few days, Pete Hegseth comes out and says something more ludicrous about what we're going to do to the Iranians. He's like, we're gonna skin them. And you're like, well, we're not doing anything, actually. He said something that was, he's like, we're sharing the ocean with the Iranians. We're giving them the floor tonight. Tonight, they're getting the floor of the ocean. It's like, this guy doesn't talk like a Secretary of Defense. I'm sorry, Secretary of War, which I don't know how good he is at. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing is an embarrassment. And the reason that America is not just going to walk away from this is because, it would really show the world that the American empire is in a stage of terminal decline and our dollar would probably be in trouble. Here's Pete Hegseth saying we hold the cards, which, by the way, that means like nukes. What are the cards? Pete Hegseth, everyone, friend of the show.
Why are we helping Israel prosecute this war if they're going to pursue their own objectives?
We hold the cards. Yeah. We have objectives.
Good.
Those objectives are clear.
That's right. What are they? Stop that. What, by the way, what the fuck are they? The objectives are clear. The only time they went near an objective was when they said Iran can't have a nuke, and everyone was like, whatever, okay. Do they have a nuke? Are they close to a nuke? Because this guy Bibi has been saying they've had a nuke for 30 years. Well, they're enriching uranium. Okay. Didn't we bomb their nuclear enrichment sites at Fordo and other places? We bombed them. Well, yeah, but it didn't do enough. Oh, so what's the goal here? Regime change? Right, so troops on the ground? No. Right, so regime change, though. How would that happen? Well, it'd be a popular uprising. The people of the country? Yeah. Which people? The people that don't like the regime? Yeah, are they hardliners? Are they more progressive? They'll figure it out. So the people are going to overthrow the Revolutionary Guard that we can't get rid of. Something like that. Oh, okay, let's watch the rest of Pete here. Maybe I'm wrong. Pete Hegseth.
And the truth speaks for itself. I mean, President Trump was very clear about that. Iran has weaponized energy for decades. Israel clearly sent a warning, and POTUS has made it clear, very clear. Iran knows when you hit Karg Island and you hit military capabilities on Karg Island, which is the only thing we hit, we can hold anything at issue, anything. The United States military controls the fate of that country. Iran has the ability to make the right choices. It should not, going forward, target Arab allies, Arab countries, trying to create pain, the pain that they created themselves. Thank you all very much.
What?
Thank you for your time.
I mean, this guy, they should not try to create pain, the pain that they created themselves. We attacked their country. We killed the leader of their country. Like during Ramadan. Whatever you feel about the dude, I don't want to live in fucking Iran. But this idea that this is like a moral imperative that we need to be out there helping the Iranians set up a new government whilst a lot of Americans get killed. It's a little ridiculous. Pretty stupid. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. Passengers trapped in Waymo after a homeless man threatens to kill them for giving money to a robot. This is an interesting story. It's a human interest story. I think we're going to see more stories like this that are actually, I think, kind of life-affirming and encouraging here, just to take a break from international news. So now here is people sheltering for their life in a Waymo.
Are you in the trunk?
That's why, man. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I'm over here. Yeah, the won't let me out.
Why are you in it?
Huh?
New at 11 tonight, scary moments in this driverless rideshare. This Waymo stop is raising a lot of questions tonight. How did a stranger end up in the trunk? A woman says she ordered the driverless taxi for her daughter on Monday in MacArthur Park, and when it arrived, they noticed the man inside the trunk. Apparently, he'd entered the car after a previous driver left the trunk open at a drop-off. The video has since gone viral. We did reach out to Waymo for a statement. The company says they are committed to keeping their riders safe, adding, quote, "This experience was unacceptable, and we're actively implementing changes to address this."
Give them $5 off. Give them $5 off and tell them to fuck off. To fuck off. Listen. Homeless people, there's a natural symbiosis, and I've seen it, between homeless people and robots. Homeless people and robots are going to really they're going to start building bonds because they're out late at night. It's true. If you walk down a street, a lot of times you'll just see homeless people, Waymos, and the food delivery robots. And they've created a community of their own. It's a community of their own. You're in your bed with your head tucked on your pillow, wondering how you can, buy a cabin somewhere. But homeless people are out there on the front lines with the robots. The Waymos, the food delivery bots. The homeless people are negotiating this new reality more than anyone else. So you can't separate them. Think of why this is kind of brilliant. The homeless have been discarded by society. But everyone soon will be discarded by society. So the homeless people know this. And they see the robots as kind of a justification of their life and their choices. Not to blame homeless people for it, but the homeless people get very excited with these robots. Sometimes they fight with them. Sometimes they'll jump on top of them. Sometimes they're just really high and they're just kind of staring at each other. But homeless people are saying, it wasn't just us. Soon they're going to get rid of everybody. And there's something probably oddly fulfilling if you're a homeless person in that, and freeing. There's something freeing if you're a homeless person. Go, well, I'm not going to get a job because everyone on the street's a robot. That's really what you have. So you have a lot of homeless people that are tragically addicted to drugs, befriending, and sometimes it's adversarial, but creating and living in communities with robots in a way that a lot of regular people are not.
Niggas trying to buy the game through Bitcoin.
So this is really what's happening. In January, Doug Fulop was riding home from a night out in San Francisco when a man crossed the street in front of his car, doubled back, and began screaming at him. The man punched the car's windows and tried lifting up the vehicle. He then yelled that he wanted to kill Mr. Fulop and the other two passengers for giving money to a robot. A taxi driver would have simply driven away, but Mr. Fulop's vehicle had no driver. It was a Waymo. We felt helpless, said Mr. Fulop, 37, who works in the tech industry. Since autonomous cars started roaming San Francisco streets almost 4 years ago, they have elicited an array of reactions from humans. Angry protests. They've created an unexpected hazard for passengers of self-driving cars all around the city. So there's going to be homeless people that celebrate these things, and there will be homeless vigilantes. There will be homeless vigilantes, and they are the best of us. If you're homeless and still care about the society enough, to fight back, to fight a Waymo, you know, things like that. You know, I don't condone it. I'm certainly not suggesting it. But it takes character to be as such a, you can't get more marginalized than being homeless. I know it's hard to be a queer, you know, actor at the Oscars or whatever. I know it's hard. But imagine being homeless. That's like got to be like kind of worse. Now, if that person can muster up enough rage to say we have to fight these machines, but I don't, you know, I don't know how it's going to go. It's hard to know because the homeless are the first line of defense. They are. When the robot, and I don't like any of this, but when the robot police come out, they're going to get good on the homeless. It's not something I like saying. And the homeless know that. When the robot police start patrolling the streets, when Peter Thiel's accountability bots are unleashed into the downtown streets, they are going to be training on homeless people. And there will be a room, and there will be a closed-circuit TV at Palantir or some such company, and they will all be watching a robot downtown, and that robot will be fighting 20 or 30 homeless people. And some nights the homeless will win. Some nights the homeless will win, and it'll go on YouTube, and we'll watch it. And we'll say the homeless downed an accountability bot. They downed one of the bots in downtown LA. 35 homeless people attacked it. In a coordinated way. Homeless people are just going to start attacking these things in a coordinated way. They are our first line of defense. They are the Minutemen. It's just what's going to happen. This is where society is going very quickly. It's going to AI-driven security apparatus. One of the reasons that horrible attack on the girls' school in Iran happened was because we're using AI to pick targets. So AI is already a major player in this war that's not going so hot. And it's going to, you know, all this stuff that gets debuted in like a foreign war zone is going to hit the American streets. It's going to hit the American streets. And who's going to fight? You? I think not. The homeless, the unhoused. And there'll be thousands more of them at that point. But that's what's going to happen. These are going to be the initial clashes. What are we talking about here? We're talking about stuff that you can't not talk about, and that's the Aura frame. It's a digital picture frame. It's #1. It was rated #1 by Wirecutter. You can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com. Everybody wants memories. Memories. Turn your face to the moonlight. And then what it is a picture frame where it's all the it was nasty to her. Gift box. Did you know that? Take us out. He's not going to like my present.
It was sound for you.
What's your present? It's the Aura. It's the digital Aura frame.
Just whispers.
It's got a lot of pictures of Pop-Pop on there. Remember when he came home in that Mexican hat?
Distant cracks and
He was a violent pedophile cannibal, John. They call them pedivores. He would eat the children. That's AURAFrames.com. Promo code TIP. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions. Participate. It's neurogum.com. cares? The cockpit door's locked. Who gives a shit? A couple of people might fucking have a bomb. You want to wait in line, or do you want a chlorine bomb to go off an hour outside of Orlando? It doesn't matter. Just get on the plane. Just get on the plane. Security lines snake out of more terminals as TSA goes unpaid. Well, this is the government shutdown thing. Stop traveling. I don't know what to tell you people. Find the place you like and stay there for a minute. This is not exactly the time to be gallivanting all over the world. Are you going to be an American tourist right now, you psychopath? We're destabilizing the globe. What kind of psychopath are you going to be right now? You're going to go to Italy and tell them why they're fucked because we're attacking Iran? And we've driven the price of oil up and everything's gone insane? Have the decency to not inflict yourself on the rest of the world at this point. Do you think anyone wants you? Does anyone want the American tourist right now telling people how it is? Oh, it's the ugly American here who's blowing up the world with Israel, everyone's other favorite country. Oh, good, it's America and Israel, everyone's favorites. Everyone's favorites. Tell them where the best cheese shop is. It's America and Israel. You know, us in Israel right now are like just two junky meth heads the town has had enough of. The town has had enough of this behavior. I mean, us in Israel, nobody is excited right now to hear anything about the United States or Israel. No one in this world wants to hear about that. Sorry, nobody wants to hear about that right now. So instead of getting on a plane to Scotland so you can go tell everyone that you're from America and how important it is that the Ayatollah had to get whacked during Ramadan and that they should look out for more refugees and more terrorist attacks in their countries, that's coming soon. Just tell them, during our destabilizing of the world, we've all decided we want to travel. We've all decided we want to travel after lighting the fuse that might lead to World War III. We've decided we always wanted to see Edinburgh. We wanted to have high tea at the castle after we've lit the fuse that might start World War III. Have the decency to stay in your home, for Christ, please. No one wants to see your fucking face. Or mine. No one wants to see us right now. The fuck you gonna go to Spain and drink wine in the park and be like, well, Israel has the right to defend itself. No one wants this shit from you. A bunch of fat American fucking psychopaths invading your country to tell you about that Israel needs to attack 19 other countries? You guys should really help us with this Strait of Hormuz. They're going to start kidnapping Americans in these countries and killing them publicly, and they won't be wrong. They're going to start kidnapping Americans out of their hotels and throwing them in the middle of the street and lighting them on fire. We're literally destabilizing the world, okay? We're destabilizing the planet Earth like in a major way. And Americans' main concern right now is how they can get their fat ass on a cruise to one of the other countries who were also fucking in the process of this, by the way.
Told you someone was prying the door.
So the thing about Americans, we'll never not travel. We don't care. We'll nuke Iran. We'll start a nuclear exchange, and then we'll get on a flight to Paris. We don't care. We will straight up bring the world to nuclear Armageddon, and then we will go and take a tour of a winemaking a vineyard in Italy. We don't care. Can you imagine being the American abroad right now? Like, I have a friend who just booked a solo trip to Europe, and he's young and attractive, and it's like, whatever. And he doesn't look American. Big help. Can you imagine being the American right now, like on vacation? Hey, do you have any ketchup? Do you have any ketchup? We just bombed Lebanon. We're going to bomb everyone. Maybe even you. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants this stuff. Nobody wants it. And yes, anti-Semitism is bad. We know this, but we cannot call every criticism of this war anti-Semitic. We can't call every criticism of Israel's influence on our politics anti-Semitism. This is silly. The people that are trying to make this case that this is like a necessary war, they're really having a hard time of it. They're really having a tough time. When you listen to them, they're like, well, the thing is about like Iran is that, you know, they've always been an antagonist, and they've always been trying to kill Americans, and they say death to America. They say really bad things. And so I think it's important that we confront them. They fund proxy armies, and there's not one actual actionable, like, if we didn't do this, we'd be fucked. So this is an interesting story. This is about Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go players unknowingly trained a 30 billion image AI map, which is now powering Coco food delivery robots. Now, I love the food delivery robots. I don't love Coco as much. I love the other kind with the googly eyes. Coco's fine. Coco has eyes, too. I just think the design sucks. Now, I used to remember people were playing Pokemon Go in New York City, and I would like watch them play Pokemon Go, and they'd be like, these would be grown adults, and they'd be running around like the C train in New York, and I'd go, hey guys, what are you doing? And they'd be like, there's one over there. And I was like, what? And they explained to me that they were chasing these imaginary Pokemon all over New York City, and this was, you know, at the height of my mother's schizophrenia, and I just thought it was interesting, you know, what the breaking point is in anyone's mind. But this was a game where people were just trying to collect all different Pokemon. However, the company Niantic says that photos and scans collected through Pokemon Go and its augmented reality apps have produced a massive data set of more than 30 billion real-world images. Well, yeah. The company is now using that data to power visual navigation for delivery robots, letting them identify exact locations on city streets without relying on GPS. I mean, so these are any new game that comes out, what Pokemon Go did Israel have before the Gaza genocide, by the way? You know they had one. Every new game will end in some AI mapping and some type of attack grid. This new augmented reality game has led to a new targeting system. I mean, that's what it's going to be. You're going to participate in a relatively harmless, silly game from a company that you've never heard of or know very little about. And then you will have unwittingly mapped out an area for drone strikes where people can be killed. What's going to happen? That's how they're going to do it. It's little fun games, little quick games, little silly games. And then you're going to go, well, that's funny. I've now participated in some type of infrared targeting map, so we know what installations need to go. So that's what's going to happen. You know, I mean, it's just something that you're just going to have to weigh it. You're going to have to weigh it. Maybe the game's fun. And you have to weigh it. You go, I wonder what this is being used for, actually. You'll be playing it with a bunch of people, you know? You'll be playing some augmented reality Harry Potter game, and you're going to go, interesting, I wonder what this is really for. And it's all facial recognition and geolocating and everything. What are you going to do? You can't avoid it. This is a lot of what we're seeing with this stuff right now. This is coming on very strong. And I wanted to talk about this because it is coming on very strong. There is a inevitability to this. And I think a lot of people, there's an unspoken anxiety in the air. And that anxiety, I think, is directly related to the fact that we're being ushered into this new world without much of an understanding of its costs or its benefits. And it's completely and utterly inevitable. We don't really have any say in what happens next. And there's an anxiety to that. It's one of the reasons you are more anxious on a plane than in a car. In a car, statistically, you're much more likely to die. But in a plane, you have no control over what happens. So you're sitting there, and there's turbulence, or there's a storm, or there's a rough landing, and you're trusting two people you've never seen, never heard of, and of course, the equipment and the machine. And I think there's an anxiety in our culture right now where people go, we don't have a say. We don't exactly get a vote on what happens next, how quickly these jobs are eliminated, what the privacy rights embedded into these systems are, how much of our social life is going to be orchestrated by these, how much of our financial life will be dependent on this, how much of our security is going to be dependent on all this stuff. And it doesn't help that whenever any of the people that run these companies come out, they're talking about Satan or they're being accused of killing someone who worked for them. No one feels great about this. No, there's no where's the AI Dave Thomas? Remember Dave Thomas? He had a daughter and he fed her burgers and they had a thing called Wendy's and people trusted him. Dave Thomas, a chubby guy, and he'd say, Wendy likes her bacon or whatever. I don't remember what it was, but the point is this. You trusted Dave Thomas. Where the fuck is Dave Thomas? Sam Altman's not doing it. Peter Thiel's not doing it. Where is AI's Dave Thomas, an old folksy guy that goes, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're geomapping a map that's going to be used to help people. Isn't that good?
Hey.
Don't you want the robots to see where they're going so they can bring you the medicine? You go, oh, interesting. They're going to be bringing us medicine? And among other things?
When the elevator stops, exit with
That's
your
what AI
hands
needs
raised.
desperately. It
Do not
needs
let you in until you show your
desperately
face.
some type of spokesperson that everyone isn't automatically completely disturbed by. Is there one person in that industry that can function as a spokesman that we're not all completely and utterly horrified by within several minutes of them opening their mouth? Every figure in that world, from Zuckerberg, everyone on down in the tech world, is horrifying. So what they need, get an old Wendy's commercial.
The storm has mostly settled, but much
Just
of our
play us.
infrastructure has taken a proper beating. If you're
This is
hoping
what
to stay
people
with
want.
us, I'll need you to pull your weight in the
Yeah, play
repair
this one.
efforts.
The road leading to Wendy's next great chicken sandwich is a hard one, fraught with disappointments and dead ends. But when you're Dave Thomas and you're starting with Wendy's whole breast filet, you don't give up.
I think I'm onto something.
Introducing Wendy's Mozzarella Chicken Supreme, an all-white meat filet, mozzarella, and a creamy Parmesan sauce. One bite and you'll jump up and say,
"Gee, this is pretty good."
Exactly. Come try one today.
You trusted him. You trusted him. You felt good with him. You trusted the man. And he's in the kitchen. He's making mistakes. It's not easy. And he's saying, we went through a lot of different formulas here to find the, whatever it was, mozzarella, Parmesan thing. But don't you, now, can you play Sam Altman for a minute? Just by the way, anything he's ever said. Just hit Sam Altman and hit video. Anything Sam Altman's ever said. Let's compare this. Here we go. Here he comes.
Their model provider is going to look like selling tokens. You know, they may come from bigger or smaller models, which makes them more or less expensive. They may use more or less reasoning, which also makes them more or less expensive. They may be running all the time in the background trying to help you out. They may run only when you need them if you want to pay less. They may work super hard, you know, spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions, someday billions of dollars on a single problem that's really valuable. But we see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter and use it for whatever they want to use it for. The demand that we see for that.
Now, by the way, very disturbing statement. It's about the end of, of course, it's all about human obsolescence and humans not needing to think or whatever. And then eventually they'll have to figure out how to kill them all. But think about a Dave Thomas type selling that be a little better. Dave Thomas being like, sometimes being smart takes it out of you. Sometimes being sharp takes it out of you. But we're building a real smart machine. It's going to be the smartest machine you've ever met and your best friend. And if you need a little bit of smarts, well, you can just buy it. I'm Sam Altman. Boom. OpenAI. Sometimes you don't feel like being a smarty pants. You just want to buy intelligence from our big friendly machine. Our machine's brilliant. But instead, this guy's like, intelligence is a utility. You will buy it from us on a meter. You will live when we say. You will consume what we allow you to consume. We are the government. There is no government. What is the problem? The government is an illusion. Capitalism is a scam. It is fine. No one at my company who died did so in any way that could be considered suspicious, even though they are kind of suspicious. They need a Dave Thomas. They need a flow from progressive, these people. They're not doing themselves any favors. They're not helping themselves. From seed oils to stress, toxins to pollutants, the modern world is screwing with our health at the cellular level, leading to sluggishness, bloating, accelerated aging, and more. But here's the thing, you don't have to settle for feeling like garbage 24/7. Armra Colostrum is nature's original health hack. Colostrum is packed with over 400 bioactive ingredients that fortify gut health, strengthen immune health, promote healthy metabolism, and fuel fitness performance to revitalize your health from the inside out. Function like a human again with Armra. We've worked out a special offer for my audience. Receive 30% off your first subscription order. Go to armra.com/TIM or enter TIM to get 30% off your first subscription order. That's ARMRA.com/TIM. That's ARMRA.com/TIM. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is talking about dose. I'm skeptical of massive health corporations that tell you to sit back, do nothing, and trust the system. That mindset makes you weak and dependent. And dependence is exactly what those big corporations, how they make their money. That's why self-managing your health matters more than people want to admit, especially when it comes to your cholesterol health. Cholesterol's really out of a lot of people's hands. Like a friend of mine is in great shape and has low cholesterol. I'm sorry. No. A friend of mine is in great shape and has high cholesterol. And another friend of mine has low cholesterol, but he killed someone in a drunk driving accident. So it's almost like cholesterol is kind of random. And it doesn't even matter if you just kill someone when you're in the car drunk. The traditional medical system isn't built to keep you strong. It's built to step in. Because here's what it was. He had a few cocktails with his lady, who he didn't marry, because he's older. He goes, what are we going to keep doing this? Didn't work the first time. And then him and his lady got into the car, and he was real banged up. And she said, maybe I'll drive. She's banged up. And they kill this maid who's coming home from, I guess, work. Dose for Cholesterol is a clinically backed cholesterol support supplement that targets triglycerides, LDL, HDL, and total cholesterol. New customers can save 35%. Because, by the way, it's very easy. Dose. It's delivered right to your door. It makes getting the support you need for your health easy to stick to. It's a daily 2-ounce shot. It's a 2-ounce shot. It tastes like mango. And it does lower your cholesterol. New customers can save 35% on your first month of subscription by going to dosedaily.com/Tim or entering TIM at checkout. That's dosedaily.co/Tim. dosedaily.co/Tim for 35% off your first month subscription. Hims can help you find a fitted sheet, but it can help with your performance in bed. Take control of ED with personalized treatments made with doctor-trusted ingredients prescribed by licensed providers, 100% online. ED doesn't mean your love life is over. It means it's just getting started with personalized treatment options to help you take back control and spontaneity thanks to daily meds. ED is more common than you think and simpler to treat than ever. Through Hims, you can connect online with a licensed provider to access personalized treatment options discreetly and on your terms. Oh, Hims. It's the best. Think of Hims as your digital front door that gets you back into your old self with simple 100% online access to trusted treatments for ED and more, all in one place. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/TIM. That's hims.com/TIM for a free online visit. hims.com/TIM. Future products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Trump says he'll have the honor of taking Cuba. I just don't understand. Let's listen to Trump here talk about, God help us, Cuba? Go on.
I think Cuba, I don't know, in its own way, for tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island, great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone.
By the way, this is a boomer running the country. This is what it is like when a boomer runs the country. This is what a boomer running the country feels like. Invading countries, going there. This could be a nice spot for tourism. That's exactly what most boomers would be doing. They'd be asking the Joint Chiefs what countries would make the best resorts. Let's continue here.
They won't be asking us for money for hurricanes every week. But I think Cuba's the end. All my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now. They were for a long time. Very violent leaders.
Everybody's telling him that all these nations are weak. And I don't know anything about Cuba really, so I'm not commenting on it. But you know what? Iran was very weakened too. Iran was a very weakened nation. Now the Straits of Hormuz are becoming a unsolvable problem. Now we're playing around with the ground invasion of this Karg Island, which is where their energy infrastructure is. We're thinking about ground troops. Can you get something up about this ground troops on Karg Island or something like this? People are thinking that we're in an escalatory war that cannot end without us admitting we've made a tremendous kind of mistake here and then retreating. This is going to redesign the balance of power in the Middle East. It's certainly going to push more power to Israel and away from the United States. The Gulf allies are going to be incredibly affected by this. They've been affected by it, but it's going to even get worse. Dubai is panicking. A lot of the luxury brands that are in Dubai are panicking. And this is probably going to push a lot of people towards the relative stability of China. And this is like a geopolitical mistake on a massive scale. It's not simply going into a majority Muslim country, which is a bad idea. But there's also geopolitical ramifications now that it's driving up the price of oil. It's going to hurt the U.S. dollar. It's going to hurt our relationship with many of our allies in the Middle East. It's laid bare that our military, while amazing, is not able to just go in there and take out Iran after, selling weapons to the Ukraine and Israel for the last 4 or 5 years. Trump has talked about seizing Iran's Karg Island, but what would that look like? Probably not good. He's also weighing a seizure of Iran's critical depot on Karg Island, a move that would require U.S. boots on the ground if tankers remain bottled up in the Persian Gulf, U.S. officials say. Oil and gas prices are rising as Iran's blockade of the Gulf's narrow strait drags on, choking off a significant share of the world's crude oil. Iran is blocking Gulf countries from exporting their oil while allowing tankers picking up Iranian crude to pass freely, keeping its own oil flowing to China and other countries. As long as the blockade holds and Gulf oil is restricted, Trump could not end the war even if he wanted to, a source with knowledge of the situation said. Well, of course he can. Of course he can't now because we've made this is a geopolitical disaster. It's a global economic disaster. Like all these dummies that are talking about why this is a good idea, and it breaks down to some version of Iran is bad. They're bad. Whatever. But this is a geopolitical nightmare now. It's an economic catastrophe. And the people, these like dumb, maybe well-meaning, maybe not, people that are trying to justify this as anything other than a strategic blunder are all being exposed as like shills. People that are just, completely and utterly out of the loop. This is not how you project power. You don't project power by getting your allies attacked and making a big mess of everything. You project power by not invading a country, not getting stuck at a stalemate, not having the price of oil skyrocket, and not getting your allies attacked. That's how you project power. And that power that you keep and you reserve is for when you are in a war, an aggressive war that you're confronted with, or there's something that's literally something you have to deal with. But a war of choice, largely at the behest of a foreign power, if not completely, where you're jeopardizing the entire region and the global economy, is not a way to project power. It is the way a dying empire spits and sputters out. anyone with any level of intelligence, and I'm a community college dropout, but they'll tell you that this is not the way an empire projects power. This is how they fall. This is how they spin out, where you have people without any justification running around talking about how well we're doing, gaslighting the public. Our government's completely dysfunctional, and everybody knows it. And most of the people know it. There's small groups of them that, continue to believe whatever. And I don't care, If you look at the polls, there's probably more people that believe, the things that people are saying than I am potentially, than I would think. It's a little disturbing, but that's fine. I have friends like that. They don't care. Iran's bad. You know what they do to women? I hate it. How's this going to help? You're going to get a more hardline guy now. You're going to get a more hardline guy, or you're going to get a nuclear exchange, or you're going to get Israel, the U.S. Somebody's going to use, Israel maybe, I don't know, use nuclear weapons. Then you're going to get a generational religious war for the rest of our time on Earth, which might be short. And this is what we're going to get, because all the neoliberal retards that run around cities like New York and L.A., but here to a lesser extent, because they're too stupid here, which is a fucking blessing. All of these people that are running around these places, and they think the world is still America's plaything. They think the world is still America's plaything because they've gotten so used to gambling on the blood of other people's children and other people's money, and the debt that future generations will pay back. So they still flex, for lack of a better word, that we own this world, and who the fuck does Putin think he is? And we'll go over there and fuck him up. No, we won't. No, we won't. So you can share the globe, or you can perish. Or the system can collapse under its own weight. It's pretty obvious to everybody. All these people that talk like America, there's a lot of people that want to see America's power diminish in the world. The people that are pushing this war, whether they know it or not, have done more to diminish America's standing in the world than anyone I have ever seen in my life. We're in a terribly difficult position right now, and in a very public way. In a very public way. With very few, if maybe no, good solutions. So the idea, and I've heard people say things like this about American power and history and all this stuff. They are drunk on the early 2000s. They are drunk on regime changes in places like Syria that they didn't pay attention to, or Libya, or things like that. It sended floods of refugees and destabilized the political situation in the economy of Europe, but Americans don't care about that. They don't give a shit about that. The effects of those wars they haven't seen that here as of yet, the way they've seen it in Italy, UK, Ireland, France, whatever. So you have a bunch of people talking about American power and the need to exert American power and confront countries like Iran. And the irony of it is that actually this is the complete opposite. The result will be the complete opposite of what you say it will be. It will be the destruction of American power. It'll send a signal around the world that our military is overextended, and that, without using unconventional weapons, we can't do this the way we thought we would do it. And no one in our country wants that. Nobody wants us to lose. I don't want a single life to be lost. But now we're in this situation where it's a black mark on our name. If we lose, we walk away, whatever. But I don't know what winning is. Pete Hegseth doesn't know what winning is. None of them know what winning is. No one's explained to us what winning would even look like. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful out there. And please, don't travel. Have the decency. I'm going to ask you now. Have the decency. sit your American ass home. While we destroy the globe, I'm going to ask you, go to Vermont. I'm going to ask you, do not show up at a country and huff and puff in the lobby of a hotel and be the entitled American until we've gotten out of this thing. There's nothing the world wants less. There's nothing the world wants less, by the way. And if you're going to go somewhere, go to Dubai and get bombed and spend money. Take a missile and spend $1 because they're the fucking our Gulf states. Whether you like them or not, they're a little silly, couple of too many lip injections, whatever. But if you want to do a good thing for an American ally, if you're going to go on a trip, you go to fucking Qatar. You go to Dubai and get a lip filler. Go get your Botox done in Dubai. Go buy a Gucci bag in Dubai. If you're a fucking patriot, go to Dubai or Qatar. Go to one of these Gulf ally states that's taken a whole lot of shit because we went into this. Don't go to Spain. Don't go to France. Don't do that. Don't go to Italy. Stay away. Stay away. Have the decency. And I know it's not your fault. It's not our fault. But let's have the decency while we're blowing up the entire world to just take a beat. It's just fair. It's just fair. Nobody wants to hear you in the back of the cafe being like, you know, the Ayatollah is really bad. Because then they're going to throw acid on you. Because they're paying a lot more for the Saudi soda. They're paying a lot more for the black gold, for the juice. Because our government's gone nuts. Anyway, that's my message this week. Stay home. Hopefully cooler heads prevail. Get ready for the real fight. Get ready to take up arms with homeless people and confront robots in the deserted downtowns of your cities. Don't go to Spain. Don't go to Spain. You don't get tapas. How about that? Your government's blowing everyone up. No tapas. Good night.
Window is closing. 10 minutes to get out of there.
Look at this clip. Today in Tel Aviv, we gathered hundreds of Israelis to declare we will not serve the war of Netanyahu and Trump. So 3 years into the genocide, finally the Israelis, now that they're around and finding out and they're getting shellacked night after night, they're like, no more. This is unjust. You see, we were always moral.
We are here again, day after day, to protest against the war in Iran, against the war in Lebanon, against the war in Gaza and in the West Bank. We understand.
It's not a war. Face. And also, you've had, what, 800 days? Come on.
That this is a misleading war because it will bring no one safety. It will bring no one
fuck what?
A better life. It will just cause more destruction and more death. And we demand to stop this forever war because the people in the entire Middle East, they deserve better. We are here, hundreds of people. Yesterday we were dozens, and this is our only way to show our leadership, Netanyahu and Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, and also President Trump, that we do not believe a word they're saying. They're not fighting for the people in Iran. They're not fighting for the people of Lebanon, and they're most certainly not fighting for the people in Israel. They're fighting for themselves. We do not believe them. We will not serve their war.
That is a cool story, Shlomo. Just a question. What are the coordinates of this protest? Don't believe a word that these Israelis say like they've suddenly had a change of heart. No, they're just feeling the effects of their decades-long occupation. Finally, the chickens have stopped swinging and they're coming home to roost. Quite an interesting contradiction. Here's a quote from Ali Khamenei and a quote from Baal himself. Ali Khamenei says, anyone who denies the infallibility of Jesus Christ and Lady Mary in Islam is not considered to be a Muslim. This is how much we respect Christianity. And on the flip side, you have Satan himself saying, Jesus Christ would have been defeated by Genghis Khan. He basically calls Jesus Christ a coward. He basically calls Jesus Christ a because he's not evil. Jesus wasn't evil, and you have to be evil in this world, is basically what Baal has told us. So, you know, Netanyahu aspires to be Genghis Khan. That's a good metric, right? It's like, yes, he wants to battle barbarism, as he characterizes it. And what is he willing to do? He's willing to become a barbarian, the worst barbarian in human history, some say. This is absolute cinema. 11 a.m., Trump said we wanted unconditional surrender from Iran. At 1 p.m., Trump says, we're having a hard time. We need to talk to Iran.
I told him, I said, Dan, if you don't mind, stay in the Situation Room and you watch all those attacks that we're hitting those guys with, and they don't know what's happening. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their anti-aircraft is all gone, it's all gone, their radar is all gone, their leaders are all gone. The next
Like none of this is true, Mr. President.
set of leaders are all gone, and the next set of leaders are mostly gone.
You just said all their leaders are gone. Except for the current ones, of course.
And now nobody wants to be a leader over there anymore. We're having a hard time. We want to talk to them, and there's nobody to talk to. We have nobody to talk to. And you know what? We like it that way.
So you like it that you're having a hard time, Mr. President? You like, it's getting real tough, but we like it. We love failing. See, this is from 9 hours ago. It says Iran's military spokesperson exposes the United States. The retreat of USS Gerald Ford has proven the hollowness of the power of the arrogant. Why should a $13 billion warship fear small $1,000 speedboats? It's nothing but a paper tiger. Now this, I nearly wet my pants. Okay, I fully soiled my pants when I read this last statement. He said Saddam's fate awaits Trump and Netanyahu. Whew, sends shivers down my spine. Jimmy Dore says it's obvious Israel is a psychopathic, homicidal terrorist state, and the last thing they want is a peace deal. It's time to make every politician pay a huge price for siding with Israel and taking their money. Joe Kent says Ali Larijani was negotiating peace and was killed. Qatar's gas could have stabilized energy markets, and it was hit. He says Tel Aviv doesn't want peace. It wants permanent war, and America is the weapon.
That are killed off, like we just killed, Ali Larijani, who was a negotiator, who was eager to get us a deal. Again, look, I've got no love for the IRGC. I've got no love for the Iranians. But you've got to realize,
just to be clear,
if you want it to end,
in case you're tuning in now, you fought their proxies.
I fought their proxies. I mean, I put countless of them in flex cuffs or much worse. I've gone after the Iranians. I was in, specialized outfits that went after the Iranians and their
Okay, cool. So you're a war criminal. Got it. Thank you, Joe.
proxies. These are very serious people. They're not, supermen by any means. They're humans.
This just in. The Iranians are not aliens. They are, in fact, human. Just like us. They're just not as exceptional, obviously. Go through these reposts. This says, absolute bombshell. Leaked reports reveal the Pentagon is making detailed preparations to deploy thousands of U.S. Marines for a ground invasion of Iran. We all are predicting that by next week we'll be in a ground war. When asked about seizing Kark Island to cut off Iran's oil, Trump refused to deny it. A total nightmare.
All right, let's talk what else it would take to secure the Straits. There's now more and more reporting that maybe some type of ground offensive in the region by our Marines. And this is from CBS.
Yeah, 6,000 Marines are going to topple a country of 90 million with an army that is 1 million strong.
CBS News today. So
I like our chances. I like our odds.
Take it with a grain of salt. Mr. Trump has been deliberating whether to position ground forces in the region. Sources said on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized.
He just said anonymity. He didn't even say it right. It's anonymity. He says anonymity. Didn't he? Watch.
Of anonymity because
Anonymity. Anonymity. No, it's anonymity. What? Sure.
Because they were not authorized.
You get it.
They also report that roughly 2,200 to 2,500 Marines from the California-based USS Boxer Amphibious Ready Group and the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit are heading.
He sounds constipated.
To U.S. Central Command that is responsible for all American forces in the Middle East. Okay, so that looks like that is happening. But here
It looks like you're pushing a turd out right as we speak.
here's the president's response to that and the taking of Karga Island, which is the island where most of Iran, their oil passes through. They need that economically to survive as a country.
Well, you know, I may have a plan or I may not, but how would I ever say that to a reporter? If I said that to a reporter, Marco would say, please, sir, let's bring you over to the helicopter immediately, right? No, I can't tell you that.
Like I said, it's
Look at this. The Army is preparing to deploy the 82nd Airborne Division into the Middle East. Yes. Finally. Look at that. There are already 8,000 Marines on their way to Iran. Oh, joyous day. Look at all these get in the box contenders. They're all, yep. Sad to say. I didn't say it, you did it, but I agree with you. Salute, R.I.P. R.I.P. How do they not understand what's going to happen? Thank you, Gail. That's really nice of you. Appreciate your support. Ryan Dawson is telling us that the Houthis have 400,000 fighters, about half of what they claim. That's still larger than the U.S. and Israeli forces are combined. Last night they were told to hold. Trump released Iranian gas/oil because he can't prevent it anyway. This is a positive step. It shows that he is closer to declaring victory and ending the conflict. Of course, Ryan, I think that's a little bit of hopium, copium, Ryan, because I don't think they're going to end. But I hope he's right. Unfortunately for the UAE, Ras Al Khaimah city is about to get smashed. Well, that's true. We just got reports of that. Oil is way up relative to the start of the war. It will dip because of states releasing oil reserves, sanctions lifted on Russia, and now Iran itself, and talk about force reopening the strait and ending the war. I can promise that strait ain't being opened by force. The only way is to cave to Iran's demands. Get-rich-quick schemes are just that. BTC, gold property, it's all inside a rigged system. Ultimately, the donor class uses states to manipulate markets and then profiteers off inside information. If you know who is running the matrix, you can piggyback on their moves. See, this is a great point by Ryan Dawson. So super based. Something I like to talk about too as well, the composite man theory. Understand, that that geopolitics, just like the stock market, is being manipulated by one entity. And if you can understand who that entity is and what their desires and interests are, then you can play that game and, like he says, piggyback on their moves. Thank you, Hauling Pixels. Fun fact you have for us, IDF soldiers have a retreat in Himachal. Himachal. It's a new word I've never heard of. India, famous for Manala cream hashish. Ooh, hashish. To cleanse themselves after the deeds they do, even Indians aren't allowed to enter the cafes in the area. Is that true? Why am I not surprised-a-witzed? Why are Indians so cucked for Israelis? But I think I know. Because they share the same mutual hatred for the Islam community. It goes back to whiteness? Indians want to be white? Yeah, they all it's like that Gusano complex. It's like, yes, we know that you stole all of our land and resources and money, but please, let's side with the power. That's a good way of putting it. Might makes right. Might makes right. No, Netanyahu is not hiding out in Bali. He's actually being rebuilt in Germany. Stronger, faster, better. Mecca Bibi is on his way.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a man barely alive. Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to make the world's first bionic man. Bibi Netanyahu will be that man. Better than he was before. Better, stronger, faster.
Wow. Holy shit. Whoa, what happened to Mecca Bibi there at the end? He didn't survive. Well, you know, we're dealing with the tech startup nation. It's the startup nation. That's Israel. And they're so innovative that they have created the first AI prime minister, excuse me. The first AI prime minister was innovated in Israel. Elon Levi, I don't know why he's posting this shit, like thinking that like people are going to care. He's constantly posting these alarm updates. And then he just gets ratioed. Look at this, 2,000 comments and 1,400 likes. And 1,400 likes is a lot for this clown, but he still gets ratioed. He says, millions of Israelis just got up from their Shabbat dinner tables to seek shelter from another Iranian ballistic missile attack. Oh my goy. Look at that. I can never tell. Am I looking at an alarm map or a pedo map? Are these all the registered sex offenders in Israel, or is this the sirens that are going off? And of course, we know those aren't sirens. Those are just God's trumpets heralding in God's truest promise for the fourth time. Sorry for yelling. The fourth and final act is upon us. This motherfucker is partying it up in Mar-a-Lago right now as his illegal war is throwing the entire world into chaos. And won't forget the men who died, and he's doing that. He's like he's jerking off camels. You know that dance that he does? Yeah, I won't forget the men who died and are dying right now as I party it up in Mar-a-Lago. Guys, he hates you. I don't know why you're clapping for this man. He hates you.
Thank you.
See, the crowd has to be at least 3 to 5 feet away from Donald Trump at all times because he smells like burning sulfur. He's like, oh, God, I gotta go to the bathroom. Ew. Like, this is Melania. President Trump, you've got to ask permission first. Remember, President Trump, consent is sexy. He doesn't like to ask, does he, folks? This orange guy smells like dog piss. I think that's being disrespectful to dog piss. Why would you do that? Here's a post. Let's see, it's an interview between The Economist and Tucker Carlson. Let's just play it.
Clearly, I think you and I agree. We have both been critical of the Israeli government.
Oh.
I just want to kind of clarify terms a bit here.
Well, I've really been critical of the Israeli government.
I've been plenty critical of the Israeli government. I've told you at the beginning that we were against
What do you
this
think of
war.
Gaza?
What do I think of Gaza?
Yeah.
I think the war in Gaza, to start
Not a war. As soon as they say, well, the war in Gaza, nope, you're canceled. Get out of here. Fuck off.
with, was a perfectly reasonable response in response to the horrors of October 7th.
No, it wasn't. A perfectly reasonable response would be to vacate the occupied territories as the international community has called upon you to do so since 1967.
I think now the places, I mean, I've been there. Have you been to Gaza? I've been to Gaza since the war
Oh, but have you been? Good Lord. Do they all get their talking points from the same...
started.
They would not
It's
let
catastrophic.
me into Gaza. Trust me, very few journalists get into Gaza.
Yeah, no, I
Also, what does that have to do with the point? It has nothing to do. I mean, like, whether or not I've been to Gaza doesn't change the geopolitical calculus of this extreme power differential exhibited by two, let's call them social groups, the Israelis and the Palestinians, the occupiers and the occupied. There's no symmetry in this relationship.
went with the IDF. It's the only way that you can go in, but nonetheless, you go in and you see a flattened place. I think it is a disaster.
What is she wafting her farts so she can smell her own brand? Because they love their own brand. What the f is this? Shut up, lady.
A disaster for the future of Israel, a disaster for the Palestinian people, a horror. 70,000
What are you, a Jedi Master? These are not the conflicts you are concerned about.
people dead.
Why would you describe it first as a disaster for the future of Israel? We've got tens
saying
of
for the
thousands of civilians murdered, but it's foremost a disaster for the future
No, I
of
didn't
Israel?
say
No, it's
Yeah. Thank you, Tucker.
foremost a disaster for the families of the dead kids.
Absolutely. I made 3 points. So
Because
let me
everybody
just
sucks up to Israel in this way that suggests they're afraid, and everyone is afraid.
Yeah, why are you afraid, you old hag?
Afraid, and you know that. Everyone's like, the real problem is calling people anti-Semites allows real anti-Semites to flourish. It's like, no, actually, the real problem with calling people anti-Semites who aren't is accusing the innocent of a crime they didn't commit. And the real crime in Gaza is killing people who did nothing wrong. So,
ooh, gotcha.
Those are the real problems, I would say. But no one can say it because you have to be like, oh, no, but really, October 7th
I don't know what you're talking about, Kaz. We're having a...
Everyone watching this knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes, we do, Tucker. Yes, we do. You, man, what a dense, obtuse, obstinate brain rot. So I told you this guy, Dr. Simon Goddock, he's been ratioing Mark Levin constantly by just posting a piece of moldy toast. Like, so Mark Levin will post something, this guy will reply with a comment, and it'll just be a moldy piece of toast, and the moldy piece of toast will ratio the post that Mark Levin posted. And it's been going on for quite some time, okay? It doesn't all... This is actually a riff. It's like a variation on a theme, because it's usually not his face. It's just usually just a piece of toast. It's like, he'll say something like, I bet that I can get this moldy piece of toast more likes than the post itself. And he's right, because Mark Levin's got like, I don't know, 1 million plus followers, and yet he'll get like hundreds of likes on his posts. It's actually pathetic. But he says there's nothing better than ending the day by ratioing a lowly qualified radio host who retweets closet gays with a moldy bread bukkake picture. Moldy bread bukkake picture. Points for that, and that's good. Mark Unleavened. Ooh, that is good, Wargblurg. Nicely done. Yeah, so every time I open the app, I see moldy bread. Elon Levi again whining on Twitter. Most of Israel's population just got an extreme alert on their phones, and they jumped out of bed to seek shelter from an incoming Iranian ballistic missile. I'm gonna say thanks. Nobody cares. Go f yourself. I hate that turd with a passion. Early on, like years ago, this guy Elon Levi, before he was ousted as like the Hasbarista in chief for the prime minister, he was making videos saying Israel is the most successful decolonization project in the history of the world. I said, whoa, buddy, timeout.
Everybody wants...
Why did he just punch me?
That's my freaking opinion on what's going on in the country right now. I'm not going to give it to you. You know what I am going to tell you? If you're a Marine, if you're a service member of this country, the United States of America, you got freaking one overall job and one overall mission is to be combat ready. You understand? If something happens and we go to freaking war today, tonight, your job isn't to be ready for a PFT. It's not to be ready for a freaking CFT. It's to be ready for combat. And if the balloon goes up, you and me and every freaking buddy else, we're getting on a plane, we're getting on a ship, and we're going to go forward. And you know what? You're going to leave every freaking thing that you got here.
This guy chugged way too many monsters. Does he have some drywall he can punch? Jesus Christ. I love how he says, I swore an oath. Yeah. What did you swear an oath to, Mr. Marini? You swore an oath to the Constitution, not to the president, not to MAGA. Your oath is to the Constitution. Thank you for acknowledging that, because the Constitution outlines that what Trump is doing right now, starting an illegal war of aggression, not congressionally approved, blah, 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 whatever, liberal bullshit. I mean, I think the Constitution is a liberal document. I'm not trying to defend the Constitution, but it's just funny that they're owning themselves, you know? Like, what is your oath to, soldier?
Stateside behind, and that includes your feelings about everything.
Look at his tongue. His tongue was brown.
All right? Behind.
Ew.
Behind, and that includes your feelings about everything.
Facts over feelings. This guy listens to Ben Shapoopoo, no doubt.
All right? Don't freaking forget it. Sergeant Major.
Oh my God, and he punches the... This guy's so silly. Wow, talk about cringe. I'm not as cringe as this guy, right? He's like, yeah, we're gonna go take it to him. That's how you know I'm serious.
Ow.
Like he's playing Street Fighter or something. This guy never cognitively developed past the age of 8. He's like, what? I went to the 3rd grade and I said, that's it. I know everything I need to know about geopolitics. Like Ted Cruz going to Sunday school. It's like, well, everything I needed to know about my political career, I learned at Sunday school. This guy learned geopolitics in 3rd grade and said, I'm all set. Thank you. America the best. America the free.
Everybody wants...
What a pussy. right? And I love that he conveniently left out what he swore an oath to. I swore an oath, ... He didn't even do the ellipses right. He's like, die for Israel on 3. 1, 2, 3, die for Israel. Wow, this is crazy. Sarah Netanyahu, heavily drugged, appeared in a Zoom court hearing just a few days ago at Jerusalem Magistrates Court. Yeah, I'm guessing she was in a Zoom, right? Because they're not in Israel. She appears to be traumatized by her husband's death. Wow.
שקשה לה לייצר פתרונות שונים ולהתחיל ממקום אחר, עוד את הבעיה מזווית אחרת. אני יכולה לראות למשל בשטף הפונה שהיא לא מצליחה לתפקד וליצור אסטרטגיה, אבל...
She's like, oh, Bibi, please, but I'll take the pain away. It's too great, my lovely Bibi. He's gone, he's gone.
מעבירה עוד פעם ועוד פעם עם עוד...
My baby Bibi, my Bibi baby.
אז המצב משתפר.
Dude, she even still looks so evil. She's like sleeping through the damn thing. Dude, what is that face? That's terrifying. Does she ever not look utterly terrifying? It's kind of bizarre.
פתרונות שונים ולהתחיל ממקום אחר, עוד את הבעיה מזווית אחרת. אני יכולה לראות למשל בשטף הפונה שהיא לא מצליחה לתפקד וליצור אסטרטגיה, אבל היא מעבירה עוד פעם ועוד פעם עם עוד אותיות, אז המצב משתפר.
That is bizarre. I think that was fentanyl. She's about to slouch over. Looks like something wiped that evil smile off this pig face.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. When I die, please make AI videos of me saying crazy shit and causing havoc. Now, I don't think Bibi's dead, mind you, but what a great story if he were dead and he was like still causing international incidents while dead. He's not dead. From the people I've spoken to, he's not dead, but it's a nice idea that whenever a leader were to die now, we just have to sift through things that they put out and wonder, is this real? Is this not? This guy's saying Genghis Khan is going to beat Jesus. That would be so much more funny if he were dead. If he were dead and then they were sitting there and they go, Bibi's got a list of things he wants us to use AI to make him say, and then one of them is Genghis Khan has the advantage over Jesus because evil wins, according to Benjamin Netanyahu. And a lot of people are thinking the guy's dead. I don't think he's dead. But this is like big speculation. I've even texted people. I've said, hey, is this guy dead? And then people were like, well, we don't think so, but we don't really know. And then people are sending you videos back and forth of him like, yeah, here he is. This is Bibi. Netanyahu, still alive, perhaps.
Also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book. In which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good.
Which side are we, Bibi? Stop that for a minute. Hold on. Who are we? Now that we've united with you, who are we here? Are we Genghis Khan? What are we? We're not the Jesus side, right? Tell me exactly who are we in this allegory? What exactly is this? Continue.
So you have no choice
but to kill them all.
If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see.
Right.
That the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves
against people
and
who
to
aren't
oppose
threatened.
their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger.
Did he just say the jarring gong of danger? Roll that back.
Before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harking
this
on.
guy, hold on. This is the drug addict in the house who's got all the family in the living room going, everybody accuses me of everything. Nobody trusts me. Every time money is missing, you ask me about it. My boyfriend was in this house for 5 minutes, and yet you think me and him took your money? This is insane. I'm going to move out, and I'm going to move out because I have been attacked. The relentless attacks from the people in this house, all the while she's got your money in the pocket. Like this, I have never seen a more violent person talk more about the need for peace. It's the craziest. I've never in my life seen gaslighting like this. This is the most violent person I've ever seen. This guy cannot get out of a war. They're in wars you don't even know they're in. Ground troops in Lebanon. He's got guys talking shit to Turkey already. This guy's so off the chain. And yet he's talking about peace and Jesus and Genghis Khan. And even if you have, righteousness with you, that's not enough. You gotta confront all the enemies. And all the enemies are anyone he thinks is an enemy or who could become an enemy. It's the gaslighting of the century. It is the drug addict in your house. Every household has a drug addict who gets on a soapbox and starts saying, I cannot believe I am being accused again of stealing money from my older sister. I don't have to take this just because I've been to rehab 5 times and you found the money in my room, and I don't know who put it there, but it was to frame me. I will not participate in this. I've never seen a person, because the thing about Bibi Netanyahu is he's kind of soft-spoken. He's not, I'm not going to say he's unsuspecting, because he's certainly not. He's been around a bit. But I mean, this guy, he cannot, there's nothing that will be enough for him. And the people that really support this, the people that are like, well, it is in America's interest to be in an unwinnable war with Iran and have the Straits of Hormuz closed and have oil go up and have, potential repercussions financially and to lose all their relationships with the Gulf states and to have the Gulf pull money out of projects in Silicon Valley and Wall Street and Hollywood and all these different places and have our economy go belly up and have a draft and then a nuclear war. It is in America's interest. And if you suggest otherwise, you're an anti-Semite and a pig. It's everything I just listed is happening. It's not like a thing that might happen. It's literally happening. We're not in. Get Pete Hegseth up. This guy, he's coming out every few days and going, "We're winning this war," and there's no evidence of that. Every few days, Pete Hegseth comes out and says something more ludicrous about what we're going to do to the Iranians. He's like, we're gonna skin them. And you're like, well, we're not doing anything, actually. He said something that was, he's like, we're sharing the ocean with the Iranians. We're giving them the floor tonight. Tonight, they're getting the floor of the ocean. It's like, this guy doesn't talk like a Secretary of Defense. I'm sorry, Secretary of War, which I don't know how good he is at. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing is an embarrassment. And the reason that America is not just going to walk away from this is because, it would really show the world that the American empire is in a stage of terminal decline and our dollar would probably be in trouble. Here's Pete Hegseth saying we hold the cards, which, by the way, that means like nukes. What are the cards? Pete Hegseth, everyone, friend of the show.
Why are we helping Israel prosecute this war if they're going to pursue their own objectives?
We hold the cards. Yeah. We have objectives.
Good.
Those objectives are clear.
That's right. What are they? Stop that. What, by the way, what the fuck are they? The objectives are clear. The only time they went near an objective was when they said Iran can't have a nuke, and everyone was like, whatever, okay. Do they have a nuke? Are they close to a nuke? Because this guy Bibi has been saying they've had a nuke for 30 years. Well, they're enriching uranium. Okay. Didn't we bomb their nuclear enrichment sites at Fordo and other places? We bombed them. Well, yeah, but it didn't do enough. Oh, so what's the goal here? Regime change? Right, so troops on the ground? No. Right, so regime change, though. How would that happen? Well, it'd be a popular uprising. The people of the country? Yeah. Which people? The people that don't like the regime? Yeah, are they hardliners? Are they more progressive? They'll figure it out. So the people are going to overthrow the Revolutionary Guard that we can't get rid of. Something like that. Oh, okay, let's watch the rest of Pete here. Maybe I'm wrong. Pete Hegseth.
And the truth speaks for itself. I mean, President Trump was very clear about that. Iran has weaponized energy for decades. Israel clearly sent a warning, and POTUS has made it clear, very clear. Iran knows when you hit Karg Island and you hit military capabilities on Karg Island, which is the only thing we hit, we can hold anything at issue, anything. The United States military controls the fate of that country. Iran has the ability to make the right choices. It should not, going forward, target Arab allies, Arab countries, trying to create pain, the pain that they created themselves. Thank you all very much.
What?
Thank you for your time.
I mean, this guy, they should not try to create pain, the pain that they created themselves. We attacked their country. We killed the leader of their country. Like during Ramadan. Whatever you feel about the dude, I don't want to live in fucking Iran. But this idea that this is like a moral imperative that we need to be out there helping the Iranians set up a new government whilst a lot of Americans get killed. It's a little ridiculous. Pretty stupid. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. Passengers trapped in Waymo after a homeless man threatens to kill them for giving money to a robot. This is an interesting story. It's a human interest story. I think we're going to see more stories like this that are actually, I think, kind of life-affirming and encouraging here, just to take a break from international news. So now here is people sheltering for their life in a Waymo.
Why are you in the trunk? That's why, ma'am. I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I'm over here. Yeah, the won't let me out.
Why are you in it?
Huh?
New at 11 tonight, scary moments in this driverless rideshare. This Waymo stop is raising a lot of questions tonight. How did a stranger end up in the trunk? A woman says she ordered the driverless taxi for her daughter on Monday in MacArthur Park, and when it arrived, they noticed the man inside the trunk. Apparently, he'd entered the car after a previous driver left the trunk open at a drop-off. The video has since gone viral. We did reach out to Waymo for a statement. The company says they are committed to keeping their riders safe, adding, quote, "This experience was unacceptable, and we're actively implementing changes to address this."
Give them $5 off. Give them $5 off and tell them to fuck off. Listen, homeless people, there's a natural symbiosis, and I've seen it, between homeless people and robots. Homeless people and robots are going to really they're going to start building bonds because they're out late at night. It's true. If you walk down a street, a lot of times you'll just see homeless people, Waymos, and the food delivery robots, and they've created a community of their own. It's a community of their own. You're in your bed with your head tucked on your pillow, wondering how you can, buy a cabin somewhere. But homeless people are out there on the front lines with the robots. The Waymos, the food delivery bots, the homeless people are negotiating this new reality more than anyone else. So you can't separate them. Think of why this is kind of brilliant. The homeless have been discarded by society. But everyone soon will be discarded by society. So the homeless people know this, and they see the robots as kind of a justification of their life and their choices. Not to blame homeless people for it, but the homeless people get very excited with these robots. Sometimes they fight with them. Sometimes they'll jump on top of them. Sometimes they're just really high and they're just kind of stare at each other. But homeless people are saying, oh, it wasn't just us. Soon they're going to get rid of everybody. And there's something probably oddly fulfilling if you're a homeless person in that, and freeing. There's something freeing if you're a homeless person. Go, well, I'm not going to get a job because everyone on the street's a robot. That's really what you have. So you have a lot of homeless people that are tragically addicted to drugs, befriending, and sometimes it's adversarial, but creating and living in communities with robots in a way that a lot of regular people are not. So this is really what's happening. In January, Doug Fulop was riding home from a night out in San Francisco, and a man crossed the street in front of his car, doubled back, and began screaming at him. The man punched the car's windows and tried lifting up the vehicle. He then yelled that he wanted to kill Mr. Fulop and the other two passengers for giving money to a robot. A taxi driver would have simply driven away, but Mr. Fulop's vehicle had no driver. It was a Waymo. We felt helpless, said Mr. Fulop, 37, who works in the tech industry. Since autonomous cars started roaming San Francisco streets almost 4 years ago, they have elicited an array of reactions from humans. Angry protests. They've created an unexpected hazard for passengers of self-driving cars all around the city. So there's going to be homeless people that celebrate these things, and there will be homeless vigilantes. There will be homeless vigilantes, and they are the best of us. If you're homeless and still care about the society enough to fight back, to fight a Waymo, things like that, I don't condone it. I'm certainly not suggesting it. But it takes character to be as such a, you can't get more marginalized